when you light, especially playing my position, you're not feeling, especially like this camp. You always hear guys get camp legs. That's something I feel like that'll help me out, especially later on down the camp, these days in camp. Just by conditioning my legs with that type of weight I have on me, it won't tire me down quick. So.
Yeah, no one wants camp legs. The Philadelphia Phillies defeated the Braves 7-2. Atlanta has lost 3 of its last 4. The Braves are 3 games behind the Mets for first place in the NL East. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Welcome in, J. Mart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone on this Thursday, which means Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers, coming up 2 hours from right now at 8 a.m. Get your gripes ready. Training camp is open. Get to some of that here in just a bit as well. Coach Mack will chime in, final hour of the show. 2 opportunities to win tickets to join us for SummerSlam Saturday night coming up here next hour and the final hour of the show. We'll do it at 7:40 and 9:40. We'll go ahead and tell you that right now. And it will be via trivia, so get ready.
We'll do it live. You get a little bit harder today? We going to take it there?
I can certainly make it harder.
I thought yesterday was the appropriate amount of hardness.
That'll work. That was real clean, fellas.
That's what she said.
That was real clean.
Don't know if it was. Really don't know if it was.
Ooh.
Mets sweep the Yanks. Braves fall 3 behind.
I watched it last night. It was exciting.
I don't care.
It was exciting, man. 2-2 going into the bottom of the ninth. Golly, Scherzer had a night, man. What is it, that slider he has that he's known for? Is it the slider or the cutter? Slider, I think is what it was. He ripped them apart with it last night. He made Aaron Judge last night go 0 for 3, only the second pitcher to make him go 0 for 3 on strikeouts. He was diddling, and I didn't realize how hype he gets in the dugout. It was real cool, man. And who was it from the Pirates that ended up having the walk off? I'll get that answer in a minute. But yeah, it was a cool series. I enjoyed watching it last night. I didn't see the first game as far as the sweep goes, the first 2 games. So it's cool. It's New York.
Luckily, football's here.
It's like, yeah, okay, Mo. It was exactly that, okay?
Certainly not talking about the Mets.
Mets are hot right now.
I know they are. I don't care.
Mets are hot right now, man.
They'll screw it up.
Oh, that's what they say, but it usually happens before now, from my understanding. Mm-hmm. It usually happens before now. Marte. That's Sterling Marte. That's what it was. They let him have it, and rightfully so last night. It's like, he's just now getting back into the swing of things. He struck out again, and he ended up having the walk-off single last night with runners on first and third. It was cool. Y'all know my interest in baseball is up now. I see why my granddad used to watch it. If you understand it more, you'll say that. And I'm saying this to a crowd of people that's ready for football season. Screw it. Let's go, Jay.
Titans training camp day 1 went well.
Yeah.
Tannehill was 11 for 11. Malik started out 4-4. Treylon made a diving catch. Made a couple plays. Said he's down about 5-6 pounds from the offseason. Training camp, some people value it more than I do in terms of like individual numbers, but this is what you want to see. I mean, I read what Jim says. I go and see what Jimmy says, what he saw at TennesseeTitans.com, then kind of apply that to some of the other stuff that I've heard throughout the day. And it seemed like a good day. You got Woods and Farley out there without knee braces. You got Jeff Simmons, as we played off the top, feeling fast, feeling good. He's dropped about 5 pounds. He's ready to go, and he's trying to get paid. Yeah. So you should have a very driven Jeff Simmons.
Yeah, it seemed like all these guys hit their sweet spot as far as trying to shred a little bit of weight before everything cranks up, man. It's going to be hot. You need to be a little bit lighter this time of the year because you always got time to gain it back up. Naturally, over the course of the season, for some, you just go up anyhow because it get colder. You move a little bit slower in practice because you're trying to preserve your body. But, dude, talk about the amount of accountability that Treylon Burks kind of took this past week or yesterday. It's real cool for a young guy to recognize, yeah, I was tripping. I was off. I thought I could do what I could. I thought I could do what I wanted to as far as his off-season training. And a lot of guys don't understand. It is a little bit different. You got to come in prepared as a rookie. I remember saying, it's supposed to be your most it's supposed to be the most in shape you're going to be coming out that rookie year because you have some of that training you didn't stop. But this is a kid that was a first-round draft pick, and I'm sure he went through the whole media blitz of, post-draft stuff that he had going on, and he just wasn't ready. And he owned up to it, shredded some weight, even though he had the Dorito chip bag on the boat. Good on him, man. I was real happy about that. If y'all hadn't searched his name to go look at this deep shot from Ryan Tannehill, it's worth the search, man.
Yeah.
He really made it happen. But he just looked different, too. I thought he was a little bit bigger. Like size-wise. I know 5 pounds can make you look pretty good regardless of what you got going on, but he looked skinny right now, which is a good thing for him, man, because he needs speed. Said he got behind Christian Fulton yesterday from what Wyatt posted. Everybody I saw yesterday kind of had there was no words to be eaten because he just wasn't ready early in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody just kind of gave him his, hey, well done, kid. We got this behind you. Even Vrabel did. So that was pretty solid.
Yeah, it's good. Like I said, a lot of overreaction over the past few months where we just said, let's just wait.
Yeah, man.
And we still got to see. Look, we got to see what it looks like in a game. But there's a reason why, there's a reason why you were excited the night that he became a Titan.
Mm-hmm.
There was a reason why you were excited the next day.
Yep.
There was a reason why you were excited in the pre-draft process where you thought he could be a target for this team. It's because he's good.
Mm-hmm.
Or certainly was in college.
Yeah.
So that's why the Pittman thing, it just seemed like it didn't sense it was a big deal to him to say what he said. So that told me, all right, well, I'm going to act like all of this stuff then is pretty much a no big deal until we get to September and he's struggling. But if he's not, then that's fine. But the best part is that he owned up to all of it and clearly wanted to, he wanted to shed the LBs, but he wanted to shed that label. He didn't want people to say this anymore.
Yeah.
And the way you do that is to show up ready to go. And he certainly did in day one. And now hopefully we're off and running.
I mean, one of the coolest things is he's a young guy that's already creating a rapport with Ryan Tannehill. Like, he even got some praise from him. And I know it's not football, Moan, and, they're just in helmets right now. But, him throwing on air is a huge part of what they need to be able to do. And for Tannehill to be bragging on the fact that, look, back shoulder fades were good. His deep ball catching was good. Him getting behind Christian Fulton was probably the most, the most surprising thing of it all. I just didn't see that being the case as for a guy like Christian Fulton, which probably means he's going to have a monstrous year himself. And I'm speaking of Christian Fulton just simply because he's getting into the swing of things. You got a young guy like Treylon Burks that's going 100 miles per hour on every single play. And I feel like Christian Fulton is going to be in a position where he's like, yeah, I know how to pace myself to get ready for the season. Of course, like you said, Jim Wyatt's updates. He also had NWI, Nick Westbrook-Akina, getting behind Christian Fulton yesterday. You say what you want to, a lot of people going to, raise their eyebrows. Why is Christian Fulton giving? No, screw that. This offense needs to make strides early and often, and one phase that they need the most is potentially the passing game. So I'm glad to see that. That defense is usually going to take care of itself, and to have conversation around Treylon Burks being a guy and the waves that he's kind of created early on, I thought was pretty solid start to training camp.
It was, and you can be happy about that. But as a lot of snark I saw this morning and even a few things in the chat, it's a practice. It's a good start, but it's a practice.
This ain't just you're 100% correct, but this is the practices, though. These are the practices.
No, this is more. I just like,
yeah.
again, those that are like, oh, look, he's the greatest receiver in history because of one day and stuff like that. It's like, well, look, here's the thing I would say is like, I wouldn't get like super excited and say you're winning a Super Bowl because the dude had a good day in practice, but you can be happy that he had a good day. Like, there's no reason not to say, hey, well, that's a positive, because the flip side is he has a bad day at practice.
Yeah.
Like, a good day of practice is better than a bad day of practice.
Yeah.
I think that's just objective fact.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you have to go anywhere else. Like, you don't have to take it to the easy. It's like, no, he had a good day of practice. And considering you wanted to knock him because he had, an inhaler one day, or you wanted to knock him for this or that, or a Doritos bag in a photo, or all of those kinds of things, then you need to give him the dubs when he stacks the dubs too.
Yeah.
You need to say, hey, it was a good day for him. Doesn't mean he's going to the Hall of Fame. Doesn't even mean he's going to have 500 yards receiving in the NFL. I have no idea. I'm just saying that's a better day than the bad day would have been.
No doubt about it. For anybody that has any pushback, this kid got taken off the edge. He walked the plank the entire spring, man. You remember the videos of him leaning over, hitting the inhaler, and doing all this type of stuff? Like, dog, let's one day at a time. And who was it last year? The young receiver that was Drops McDougal, basically. Is
Jamar Chase.
Well,
Drops McDougal.
Dez. It was Dez Fitzpatrick, right?
yeah.
They couldn't.
Here.
Well, it was also Chase too. It was him too, Jay. But Dez Fitzpatrick. What were we hearing about him? Oh, his route running is not good, and he can't catch the ball, and everybody kind of buried him. And now he's had a little bit of a start too this year. Treylon catching the ball, making back shoulder fades, and catching deep balls, man. He walked the plank this spring, and he also faced the music to the media on the whenever they asked him those hard questions. So, hey,
5 letters here.
Yeah, man.
RELAX.
It's the laugh in the background that get me right there. It's that part right there.
5 letters here. RELAX.
That's a good little drop right there. But Treylon was solid. By the way, I didn't realize Rabel gave out
Off-season awards.
Yeah, I gotta ask Coach Mack about that if he actually knows what those are. But that's
Fire too slow.
I know the award Cam Hayward gave you
swear.
QB. Gave him a whoop ticket.
I gotta talk to Cam.
Johnny, come here and get your whooping.
I gotta talk to my dogs. Like, look, man, I know you're trying to do this media thing, but like, let's peel back a little bit on seeing everything in the video. But he's supposed to defend his current teammates and the locker room that he's inside.
His former teammate kind of lit the match a little.
I mean, Ben said they're all me first. What's more me than the last season of Ben Roethlisberger's career?
Come on, man.
Dude, there is no quarter for Ben Roethlisberger saying it's a me first business
man.
now. That dude is all about Ben Roethlisberger.
Hey, when I tell you I got a phone call about that comment yesterday, just know it was from direct individuals. Like, what's going on? Because those two have actually talked about that similar like that similar topic. That topic, Ben and Cam have actually talked about it. And I get a call from Ben yesterday, and I'm like, "Where's the sound at, Shafe?" I'm like, I ain't even in the locker room no more, man. Y'all leave.
Man, I'm just trying to fix the plumbing in my house so I can take a shower. I'm just trying to take my kid to baseball practice.
I've been boiling water on the stove because my tankless heater is out right now. But the part, needs to be in today. Like, I got other things going on here, people.
615-567-1000 for Lee Company.
Showers.
Like, I went to the gym this morning, got a burn in because they had hot water, man. No, I worked out this morning, but still, it played into my favor because hot water's not working right now, Jay.
Lee Company, man, $750 off tankless water heater or special financing right now. 615-567-1000. That's not their time. That's coming later.
Okay.
They sponsor a bit later in the show. We'll come back. 615-737-1045. We can talk a little bit more about that, certainly.
It is.
Hey, look, I'm seeing Deshaun Watson practicing. Gosh, nothing I want to see less right now than that guy on the field.
You say Friday?
That's my guess. I saw the thing throw out yesterday in a news update. They're bracing for 8 games. Get ready, folks.
What are they just dipping their toe in the water real quick?
The Browns Stefanski said Jacoby will start if he gets suspended. And the organization apparently has leaked. They think it's 8 games.
Just dipping their toe in the water.
I guess.
Up,
615-737-1045. Be right back here. Jay Martin Ramon, 1045 The Zone.
It is time to beat the heat with Window Nation, people, okay? Or you can save $200 off any style new window from Window Nation. Any type you want. You know, there's a whole lot of different types of windows. You can get black windows, cream windows, white windows, like whatever you're trying to do. And this is the thing. You'll pay nothing until 2024. But what do the windows do to your house other than make them look good? Well, they can lower your energy bills and raise the value of your home with new energy-efficient windows from Window Nation.
Increase the value of your home with Curb Appeal. Save money on your energy bills by replacing those old, inefficient windows with new energy-efficient Window Nation windows. We're talking 30 to 40%. You can save on energy costs if everything is sealed up properly, and it is. Over 96% of what Window Nation does, and it's a whole lot of windows every year, require no follow-up service because they know exactly what they're doing. Window Nation has saved customers over $60 million on energy bills. I would want to be a part of that group, not the one that's not saving money. So you need to take advantage, just as I have. It's $200 off any style window from Window Nation with every 2 you buy. No payments, no interest until 2024. Receive a free entry door with the purchase of a house of windows. Save thousands on those new windows and energy bills, all while upgrading the look and feel of your home. Do it by calling, just as I did a few weeks ago, 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION, or online where?
At windownation.com. Pow!
Welcome back, J Mart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Julio seems really excited to be in Tampa Bay.
I don't know if I've ever seen him smile and chuckle and be all friendly with the media like this.
With all that said and done, I still got to come to work. I still have to put the work in. Is that the same guy that was here last year?
What's the sound again?
Julio.
Man, it looked like he turned up, Jay. He was smiling. I'm talking about really having a grand old time. And he's giving a whole little insider conversation look to the reporters like, yeah, Tom, Tom called you. You got to listen. And, we talked about some stuff and his plan. I was just like, and then he started doing like the inside joke face to the media like, well, I can't tell you whatever else we said. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, Tennessee's got nice weather too. It's humid in Tampa also. What? And man decided to go play for the GOAT, I guess, and to change his whole
So he talked to Gronk.
Yeah.
Gronk was like, dude, you got to do that. That's fun. Basically is what he said.
Yeah. No, and
he's ring chasing. We know that.
He's definitely ring chasing. On the NFC side, I mean, they got to go through, well, whatever Green Bay decides to do. But he's ring chasing, and he seems very motivated, man. You hear him talk. You watch him, and you're just like, this dude has a new air about him. And Tom does it to people. He go handpick his guys, though, right? Handpick his guys. Did the same thing with AB. Brought that up yesterday. He did it with Gronk. And, of course, I'm listening to Bill Polian yesterday, and Bill Polian's like, do not believe the hype that Gronk is retired. Around week 9 or 10, you can probably expect to kind of see him around again. And I was just like, ooh. Now, of course, Polian might know a little bit more than we do, or the fact that he would do that as a GM himself. So we'll see. That's got to be the ultimate luxury, though, if Gronk can just hold out and wait and wait and wait and sign until he wants to.
With Tampa Bay, even if Julio does what he did here, which is get hurt, or do what he did in the last few years in Atlanta, which is get hurt, they don't need nearly as much from him there.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've already got Mike Evans, and they got Chris Godwin coming back off injury, and they acquired Russell Gage. So they're dangerous. And if he's healthy, that receiving core is just gross.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just a ton of talent right there, and guys that do different things with the ball. And then you got the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
So obviously you were already a Super Bowl favorite. This doesn't hurt, but it's a low risk move because if it doesn't work, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't necessarily have to have Julio Jones to begin with.
Yeah.
We made it work at the last second, but, we don't need it necessarily.
He definitely didn't need it, man. But Julio definitely wanted to play. I thought he was going to be linked more to Indianapolis than Tampa. But hearing folks talking about it yesterday, again, this was Polian kind of bringing it up, saying they lost a big body as far as Gronk goes, and the ability to get a guy like Julio that really – seem the way they're phrasing it is going to end up playing a tight end type of role. Down the middle, comeback catches. Like, you can't say Julio ain't got the DNA and the drive to actually want to play. I'm not sure what the injuries were last year, if he kind of, finessed the system and got in and got out and really got to the place that he wanted to. But that sideline catch that he had, some of the acrobatic stuff that he's did before, it's in him. It's a matter of, I'm seeing, some of our chat saying, if he could stay on the field. But it is what it is. It's that time of the year. Tom is probably going to pace him as much as he needs to. And he even said Tom Brady had a plan for him as far as practice and games and stuff like that. So
it seems like Julio was dealing with a nagging Vrabel all last season.
Oh, I don't know.
It was just right
under his
shoulder.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting take, man, to see how that kind of plays itself out. They don't have Tampa this year as far as preseason.
Yeah, they do combined practices.
Oh, that's going to – yeah, we did speak about that. That's going to be very interesting. I wonder will he practice that week.
Yeah, that'd be one where we'll sit him down for a few days.
Oh, my right leg, man.
Yeah.
Go do some hydrotherapy.
My soft tissue. Ooh.
He'll probably get a day regardless, man.
I'm iffy, Jack.
But that will kind of like tick you off a little bit if you're frustrated with the fact that, you gave up draft picks and, paid this guy front-loaded money to get him here and you got nothing and he's uber excited to go to Tampa. As a fan of the game and the way we cover the Titans, I would be very I feel impartial to it, Jay. I'm not a fan of that. But it's a business. Julio found a way to kind of work it out himself. So cool.
You're
stuff.
not a fan of what?
Of if I was on the Titans team and saw a guy kind of pace himself through what we had going on,
right,
and then he goes to another team and he becomes Superman.
Right.
Like, no,
Yeah,
don't
I
use
wouldn't
us
like
as
that
a
at all.
rehab year.
Yeah.
That's not what we're doing here. This game is a little bit too hard. Now,
Sadly,
again,
he wouldn't be the first great receiver, Hall of Fame receiver that's come here and treated it like a
rehab.
AAA rehab stint.
Who's that? Who else?
Randy Moss.
Randy.
Because Randy went to the
Texans.
Niners after that.
Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson.
But he just used it to retire, or he ended up deciding to retire. But
Did he go to the Colts before the Titans, or did he go to the Colts after the Titans?
Who's that?
'Cause Andre Johnson, didn't he have like a small stint there with the Colts?
Did he
I'll have to
really?
double check. I could be wrong. I'll double check.
Looking right now, man. He went to the Colts. How you go to every division like that? Or every team in the division?
you're Andre Johnson. You don't
Yes,
have any villain.
he
You don't have
did.
any enemies except Cortland Finnegan.
2015. He went there. Oh, him and Cortland. I wonder if they ever hashed that out.
I don't know.
I know Cortland has a juice spot in Brentwood, Franklin area. He's actually behind the booth a little bit too over
I
there.
want to believe they didn't, because then it's more fun if they did. Yeah, it's more interesting if they didn't work.
I mean, but camp get hard, man, and you end up fighting guys in camp that wasn't even camp. That was a game.
Dude,
that was a national TV.
That was a
You're
game.
right. Yeah, that was national
What are
TV.
we talking about, man?
Man,
That was in action.
Yeah. Right.
Dadson on the chat. I'm assuming that's a sarcastic statement. Because if not,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Since Burks' great catch in OTA was all I needed to see, it's something the team hasn't had the last few years. I mean, technically it is because Treylon Burks wasn't on this team,
Yeah.
but you had A.J. Brown. If that's a legit comment, pipe down.
Well,
Easy.
this early. Maybe he means from a young rookie. How was AJ's start as far as camp goes? Y'all remember that one? Was he in and out for the most part, or was he actually making newsways like this as far as his start of camp and his tenure with the Titans?
I mean, he had 1,000 yards in his rookie year.
You sure?
Yeah.
AJ Brown did? I didn't realize that.
Did he?
No, I thought he had like 700. No,
I thought he had 1,000 yards in his rookie season.
I thought AJ had about
Yeah, he had 1,000
Yeah.
yards.
He did?
Yeah.
1,050. Sure, in the heck did. Hey, AJ Brown, baby.
So I'm just like, easy on that. Like, you had A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, AJ had a little bit of an injury issue early on that
Starting
season.
off in camp.
Yeah, because he appeared in all 16 games, started 11.
Mm-hmm.
But the other difference was that he was coming in as a second-round pick. He had none of the attachments and baggage to AJ.
So he's backing up the point. AJ's flat-footed, catches the ball on his hip. Great yards after catch, but isn't a 50-50 deep ball wide receiver. Shut up, Dadson. Just go away. Easy. I know he's not your guy anymore.
Flat-footed.
Don't say dumb things.
You know how many athletes are flat-footed?
I'm
Just
flat-footed.
being real.
Not an athlete.
And it never really affects anybody like that because
Not really an athlete.
Hey, you get orthotics and whatnot. I'll just say this. Just be happy for him. You remember the night that Treylon Burks got drafted? Like, there was a whole bunch of conversation about ooh and ahs and no and we want AJ and stuff like that. This kid is creating his own chapter, man. Like, legitimately. We brought this up in the first segment, but get behind this kid. He's your guy. AJ's no longer your guy, man. I know we're going to reference him throughout the year because it's the curse of the old girlfriend. It's the thought of the old girlfriend. You want to not see them do as good as the current one, but you're still going to keep your eye on him. Is basically what AJ is to the Titans fans right now. Treylon Burks is a guy. He had the first couple days of training camp, not mini camp, not OTAs, and he's got some good press behind him. This is a really good start to what could be a good year for this guy. If he does go out and continue to, have a good camp and he starts the season off healthy, that's the other part too of training camp. Getting through no soft tissue injuries, no setbacks as far as his inhaler and allergies go, asthma go. And that was another thing he kind of admitted too was, and I've heard this, people kind of, say this sometimes with people that have like allergies and just asthmas, you got to stay on top of it so that your body's used to the elements that you're in or the medicine you're taking too. And he said he didn't do a good job at it. He probably got done with combine training, realized he was going to end up being a first-round draft pick, and he probably slacked off a little bit. A week or two off from the type of training that those type of guys have to have can really set you back, and that's what it seemed like he did. He got, let's be real, he got fat and happy. That's a part of it.
Here's what he said about his asthma yesterday.
You just say, really with my, asthma and my breathing, just being able to, handle it a lot better. And, just being out here with the team just makes it even more better.
What are some things you did to handle the asthma better from?
Conditioning, running, putting myself in situations where I know that my asthma will flare up, and just being able to push through it and, just be dominant.
Because Dadson said I took him out of context by reading his exact words. Let me read these because these are well-crafted. I like AJ. His own catch contributed his run after catch to keeping his feet on the field. You taking me out of context. There's your context. I don't know what the hell that means. Sorry if that comes across mean, but you sound like an idiot this morning.
Either way, man, hearing that young fella speak on the fact that, getting ahead of it and not taking days off, as far as that goes, like that's something he can't control. If he's got to hit that pump once every 4 hours, then you do that, because now it's not just a you thing anymore, it's a team thing. And the fans in the NFL, I feel like, are a lot more concentrated on watching their team. Like college is one thing. I think more fans watch it as a leisure as opposed to the NFL, where it's just like it's the show. And you see these players in college dominate, and the one thing you want to see from them is them do the exact same thing at this level too. So that was cool, man. I really enjoyed that, and it says the type of pro he's going to be too, and it kind of backs up what Sam Pittman said about him. The guy's just a worker. He's not the fastest, but he's always down past somebody as far as the cornerback goes, as far as the secondary goes. And he's just a strong, big body guy, even though he looks smaller now, and I like that look on him, man. So, yeah, really cool. Jeffrey Simmons also practiced. There was doubts about that, what that was going to be.
Yep. And look, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anybody get hurt on whoever was at camp. I don't mean Titans. I mean anywhere across the league.
Yeah.
I want to keep seeing that update.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get through this thing as best we can.
Mm-hmm. Really, really good day, man. The Vrabel offseason awards, though, this year, I got to inquire about that one and figure out why he does it and who and what determines who gets it to. One is it guys that come in and look in a certain way. Do they crush the conditioning test? Because we never did that. I'd have tried to fight for that one, Jay. Like, yeah, coach, give me an extra bonus because of this. But Vrabel is a hardcore guy, and you got to appreciate that type of stuff. I wonder, is it like a plaque that they get for off-season award winners, man? The award winners this year, as I scroll to try to find them.
Raidens.
You got them?
Yeah. Well,
Dylan.
It's Raidens, it's Torrey Carter.
Fullback.
Caleb Farley, Dez Fitzpatrick, Amani Hooker, DeMarcus Walker. A lot of those guys are guys. I would say this. 3 of those guys stand out as guys that Vrabel wants to light a fire underneath.
Who's those 3?
Dylan, Dez, and Caleb.
Dez,
those are 3 guys where you're like, let's see if we can get you in on the sauce. You know what I'm saying? Let's get you feeling good about yourselves. I'm not saying that they didn't earn what they got. I'm just saying that those 3 guys, that's the kind of inspiration that if you're Vrabel, you want them to feel like, yeah, you're part of this group. You really just had a great offseason. Now let's go play.
And for 2 of those guys that you just named out, like Amani Hooker's just been doing his thing. He made the watch list.
I didn't mention him because he's balling out.
He's made the watch list. I looked up DeMarcus Walker too, and just I actually played against him at some point. But he's got former second-round draft pick that's on his 3rd team right now. With that in mind, here's a guy that does have high pedigree that can find himself in a role on this team that has a really good defense. Like that's where he's at right now. Is he has to play a role in camp and dominate and show that he's a former second-round pick. Second-round draft pick. But Dylan Raidens, man, he's been kind of getting praised since the offseason kind of kicked off too, and that's going to be huge as far as like this team's success moving forward. If Nicholas Petit-Frere, the rookie right tackle from Ohio State, or the rookie tackle from Ohio State, comes in and just has a worker's attitude also and pushes Dylan Raidens, they could get some really good results out of him. Because this is the thing, too. We were really on ratings last year about, what is he going to be? When is he going to get reps and all of that type of stuff. And to hear that he crushed the offseason, man, speaks volumes about how serious he took the craft. Like, he had a real full offseason this time around. So I want to see what that jump is like from year 1 to year 2, because it's going to be needed, man, because Derek is going to get the ball. They're going to tote it. They're going to be a play action team. They're going to be a run right, run left type of team. That's the other aspect that I'm looking for too. Like, run left is a thing, but you're also missing Rodgers right now. Okay, like that right side run game has to be able to step up as far as Nate goes and as far as if it's Dylan Radin's. Me personally, I'm saying it's Dylan Radin's job to lose. If he loses out to a rookie, Nicholas Petit-Frere, it's not going to sit well, I don't think, with the coaching staff or the fan base at that point.
I don't know if this is breaking, but I had not seen it. Developing story. Dan Snyder's actually going to testify.
Is he really? I hadn't heard that.
Via Zoom.
He's probably going to have a green screen over his
Zoom
face.
right out.
Yeah.
It's like Kyler watching the film with somebody wearing a Kyler mask, watching it for him so he doesn't have to do it.
You see that picture?
Of course I saw it. It's a Ferris Bueller effect. Put a mannequin in there. It looks like Kyler.
What happens with this hearing? And what's so wild about it is the timing of it, too. He would get it during football season where there's no, big news behind it. Like, ESPN is going to run it. We'll talk about what he has to say and what they're going to ask him. But off-season news versus in-season news it'll be
that also further tells me the Deshaun thing's coming.
Yeah.
Because that's going to dwarf whatever happens with Daniel Snyder. Ooh. So if I felt like that information was coming out, now would be the time I could go ahead and respond to the subpoena.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go ahead and get this out of the way because there's not going to be enough time.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can just kind of finagle our way through this.
Mm-hmm.
Because Deshaun's going to attract the attention.
Yes, because he's a player. Nobody looks at the ownership like that at all.
Not generally.
Deshaun's situation Snyder's situation has been bad for years, though. How long? I was playing when he was talking about the stuff that Snyder was doing. What is this, like circa 2015 when all of this stuff started coming up? Was it that far ago? Like, it's been a while since we've been talking about Snyder and the stuff that he was doing in South America and other countries. So this is weird for them. NFL always protects the owners, though.
615-737-1045. That's your telephone number, 737-1045. So now we're just starting to get the trickle of NFL headlines and NFL things happening. Guys moving positions, guys saying they're going to be the best in the league. Ben Roethlisberger, for some reason, doing an interview that he probably shouldn't have done. All sorts of things going on. And Metcalf is there, but not practicing.
Yeah.
Because of the contract situation. So now they're going to have that problem after not having it for the last couple of months. It seems like the DK thing had been on the back burner.
Yeah.
Now, as soon as he gets to camp, now it's a problem. Boy, it's going to be a bad year for Seattle. Horrible year for Seattle. We'll be right back. It's Jay Martin, Ramon 104.5 The Zone. Are we doing this here? I have it at 7:40 on my schedule.
Well, then I screwed it up.
Well, I've got the question anyway. Here's your chance to win 2 tickets to SummerSlam, to hang out with us on Saturday Night Live at Nissan Stadium. 615-737-1045. Fifth caller can answer this question. Which, we can just say legend, made his or her pay-per-view in-ring debut at SummerSlam 1998? Doesn't mean person hadn't been on television at some point before. This is the first pay-per-view match in this person's career. SummerSlam 98. Fifth caller. Win those tickets. I should put this one in the chat just to say there. I don't know.
I feel like
I'm a little
I know who it
concerned
is.
about that because we're supposed to get somewhere like 3-4 inches of rain over the next 3-4 days.
Ooh. Oh, wow. That's who it was? Oh, nice. Oh, I forgot all about him. That's crazy. Jay, your history with wrestling is very impressive. I'm talking about very impressive, dog.
I don't know what it has gotten me some things, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to going to a Party Foul tonight with David Reed and Brandon Hagney and sitting down over dinner and recording a Squared Circle Radio reunion show. That'll be fun.
Which one are y'all going to? There's one in Franklin now, isn't it?
I think it's 8th Avenue. I think it's the one.
Oh,
right
y'all
over
going
here.
downtown?
Yeah.
Burn the city down, then, Jay. Let them have it. Have I been to Party Foul yet? Yes. We giving these tickets away. Somebody answered you, Shafe? Shafe can answer us right now.
Yeah, he's taking calls, which means somebody hasn't, or maybe he's putting in the information now. It's not the hardest question. I didn't feel like I'll get harder with the second one, but I thought this one was.
It was a toss-up, right? It was a gimme.
During the break, I was just like, I was setting it up for next hour, but then we did it early, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, you have to know something to get this, or you have to be able to look it up faster than everybody else. But it could be much more difficult than this. We could say that.
The posters for SummerSlam, by the way, are very cool. Every single one of them are pretty sweet, I thought, since going through the history of them. Like, that's some collectible stuff. Do you have, like, older, like, memorabilia like that, too? Like SummerSlam posters?
Oh, I've got a bunch of that
Do
stuff.
you really?
Yeah.
Do you laminate that stuff, or you just, like...
Back in the day, I laminated some.
Yeah.
Most of that stuff, no. But, yeah.
Is there a market for it? I'm sure it is, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I was about to say, we were going to have Seth Rollins today. Seth doesn't have a match right now because Riddle was injured Monday on Raw, so his opponent is out of the match. And so I have to imagine they're going to find something for Seth to do. They're going to find a new opponent, but they cancel the media availabilities because of that.
What's wild, though, is the fact that they do have injuries. Like, I used to, like, question, like, oh, it's fake and stuff like that. No, they actually have injuries, and I never paid attention to it. Like, you know, as a kid, as far as, man, they went missing for a while. It never registered to me like that, Jay. So it's quite interesting to see them have to, you know, scramble and find different ways around writing a story, you know?
Yes. But in terms of, in wrestling, there's a lot of injuries. Just a ton.
And a lot of them
Pretty
on
much all the
accidents
time.
or what?
Well, yeah.
So as far as that goes, like, there's a training room for the NFL. Like, is that type of care available for wrestlers too? They travel with the squad and everything?
They have a full medical team.
Do they?
They've got everything.
You never hear about this type of stuff, or you never even actually see it. I used to think, like, everybody that came into the ring was an actor or something like that, like the referees and all that type of stuff. Like, it was an act, and clearly is not the case.
No, I've taken multiple wrestlers to the hospital through the years. Yeah, it's legit. The only thing's fake about it is who wins. What's written.
Yeah.
But what happens within the confines is athleticism. It's just like getting hurt at training camp.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a thing that happens, and they're doing a lot more risky stuff these days than they used to. So a lot of people are getting hurt very, very often.
I had no idea that was the case, man. Again, with the stigma, with the old storyline that it was fake, you just thought everything was played up or they had to go do something else. But, hey, I'm here for it. Pat McAfee's going to be here, too?
Yeah.
As a man.
No, he's working.
Look at
He's
that.
wrestling.
Look at Pat, man. That's awesome. Football players that do it, I'm just like, hey, It is what it is, man. Well, Pat McAfee was a punter, so it's a little bit different.
There's people still calling, and Schaefer's still talking to them.
Shafe's giving away a lot of tickets right now. That's all that is.
Well, no, we're only giving away 2. So is this question that hard?
Yeah.
4? We're giving away 4 right now? Schaefer just gave me 4
It's
fingers.
a family 4-pack of tickets.
Hey!
Oh, they're 4-packs.
Yeah, we just told you that earlier this week, but it's good.
I thought we were doing 2s. Thought we were doing 4 a day, but 2 at a time.
I want to see this Logan Paul match, too. That guy is an entertainer. Whether you like him or not, he finds a way to bring the crowd out. Good for him.
Yeah, hopefully the weather cooperates, and hopefully no one else gets hurt.
I know. That's supposed to pour down today, is it not?
At some
And
point.
the rest of the week,
I think
too.
tomorrow, too.
Yeah, goodness.
Technically, there's a golf lesson tomorrow. We'll see.
Are you got a golf lesson tomorrow, too?
We'll see.
A Simple Sumner?
Today, I'm just low. Today I got a physical after the show.
Oh, yeah?
So,
The physical?
yeah, I mean, I can't eat.
Ooh.
Haven't been able to eat since last night's dinner, and no coffee, none of the stuff.
None of
So I'm
that.
just sitting here on water. And I didn't realize until I woke up today that I needed to fast.
Oh.
Abby's like, you probably should fast. I'm like,
That's what happens when
why
you
didn't
have
you
a
tell
wife.
me that last night? Because I ate yogurt and ate really, I've eaten clean for weeks, like really gotten back onto it, even cleaner than usual. But I didn't eat anywhere near enough yesterday. I got lightheaded, got kind of sick yesterday after a workout. And so I didn't do it. And now I'm sitting here with nothing until 11:30 or 11:45.
You will get nothing in like it.
Apparently so.
Hey, you'll be all right. These health checks are necessary, Jay. You're going to be all right, man. Don't worry. Don't stress.
That was a pretty good question. We had a lot of different guests for that. Ken
I really didn't think
Shamrock
it was
came
that-
up a couple times.
I really didn't think it was that hard. I thought that was going to be maybe seen as too easy, but I guess not. The answer is edge, folks.
Dylan Brown of Manchester, who was super excited.
Was
There
he
you go.
He's going to be able to take
really?
his boy and hang out with us.
All right, good to know it's a family 4-packs.
What's his name again?
Dylan Brown.
Dylan Brown. There we go. Of Manchester. That's what Coach Form was from, I think. Manchester, Tennessee.
Is there a McDonald's there? 615-737-1045.
Wow.
Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers is up in an hour.
Yeah, man.
So certainly get your grapes ready there.
Kind of just did.
Why are you the way
Giving you
that
some
are?
fodder for later.
Oh, Keith.
615-737-1045.
Love that drop.
We'll come back after the headlines. Talk a whole lot more NFL. Only one day of training camp in. But now we scrutinize every little thing that you see. It's just the way it is. We'll be back. It's Jay Martin Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Drink my beers.
Good morning from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Day one of Titans training camp in the books. They return to the practice field today at 9:30. The Buck Rising Show will be broadcasting live from St. Thomas Sports Park beginning at 10 o'clock today. A guy who had a pretty good day yesterday on and off the field was Treylon Burks. Here's Treylon talking about his asthma issues from the offseason.
It's made a pretty good difference. You just say really with my asthma and my breathing, just being able to handle it a lot better, and just being out here with the team just makes it even more better.
What are some things you did to handle the asthma better from?
Conditioning, running, putting myself in situations where I know that my asthma will flare up, and just being able to push through it and just be dominant.
And a highlight reel catch in practice yesterday. Phillies defeated the Braves 7-2. Atlanta has lost 3 of its last 4. Braves 3 games behind the Mets for first place in the NL East. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once. On your over the Titans and the Vols, this is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour 2, J. Martin and Ramon. Mr. Capel's on the chat, listening to the show from the hospital. Keep your boy in your prayers. Thanks in advance. Indeed, we do. We got you in our prayers, Capels. Hope everything goes well today with whatever that situation is. It is hour 2 of the program. Mm-hmm. It was Winchester, where Philip Fulmer is from, not Manchester.
My bad. What's man? Well, for the time he made me run, I'll be all right.
Wow.
All right. Okay. My bad, man. Hey, sure, D. Marie. My bad, D. Marie. Winchester.
Those transcripts, I'll tell you what.
What transcript? They gave me a degree. Somehow I ended up graduating. With a degree.
So
it's all good.
This literally just hit it's Football Outsiders. So
seconds ago, what happened?
Oh, you said it was from Football Outsiders?
Yeah, I tell you. Shocking stats for all 32 NFL teams. It is J. Martin Ramon, by the way. Should say that. All 4 seasons garage doors making it possible. Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer. I'm Jason Martin. Shocking stats for all 32 NFL teams. So it's like the most stunning thing about every team. I don't even know what this is going to be, so I'm just curious what it says. The Titans defense ranked 30th in both yards allowed, 6.3, and yards after catch allowed, 9.9, on passes at or behind the line of scrimmage. Along similar lines, the Titans struggled against both wide receiver screens, 7 average yards, 29.5 DVOA, and running back screens, 7.5 average yards, 43.5% DVOA. So basically the Tennessee stat is, well, the shocking stats, so the things you wouldn't expect, is that the defense struggled against wide receiver screens, running back screens, anything behind the line of scrimmage. In the pass game, they were nearly the worst in the league against.
Well, you look at who was playing cornerback last year as I sip from a cup that I'm sure somebody spit in. Is this, man. Christian Fulton was learning how to play better last year at that cornerback position, knowing how to attack that pivot, that pivot point in which you got to get through that screen from the receiver setting it up. That's a learned thing to do. Christian Fulton's got to be better at that, like attack that. One of the guys, of course, I'm going to bring up his name, but it'll bring back the Ryan Tannehill sign, is Mike Hilton was phenomenal at that type of stuff, like attacking the point of those wide receivers getting the ball. It's something that, look, if they're pointing it out, I'm sure the Titan stat crew, their analytics side, is going to be able to say, hey, look, we got to get better at this. That is the one good thing that these analysts and these experts and these stat guys kind of do, is like they put some information out there that teams can't use. This is one of those things. And the other one was what? Jackrabbit. Like, he was super aggressive when it came down to, playing man-to-man and trying to get through stuff. Maybe he was aggressive as far as his tackling with the wide receiver screens, man. So that should be a point of emphasis this year. And I'm sure that's something that the Titans are going to work on, too, because they have blocking wide receivers. I'm sure they're going to try to get Treylon Burks in space, and not just him, NWI and other guys, too. The screen game is a part of the Titans' offense. I know it comes a little bit more at the running back position, but defensively, I ain't going to say it's something easy to correct, but you can put a pin on that in training camp and say, hey, look, this is what we're doing this year. We got to get past this. Christian Fulton being younger, I think that played a factor in it. And the fact that Jack Rabbit was a little bit too risky at those type of situations, man, as far as wide receiver screens. That was one of their main sticking points as far as the Titans defense go, Jay. If you read that again, as far as
that's the stat. Like, that's the whole piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Titans 30th in yards allowed defensively and yards after catch allowed on passes at or behind the line of scrimmage. So they got crushed against screens. Along similar lines, the Titans struggled against both wide receiver screens and running back screens.
Mm-hmm. Well, you look at the style of D they play to. What's the one thing that we kind of say? It's led up front by Big Jeff. Big Jeff is an aggressive type, up the field kind of pursuer at that position. And you can kind of fake teams out a lot. And truthfully, that's a compliment, and it's really backhanded, because the thing is, teams that do that type of stuff against the Titans is clearly a trend of theirs. It's the one way in which you can try to get that defensive line to slow down, or the aggressiveness of what the defense does as a concept is, look, we're going to throw screens against them. I knew if we was playing somebody like Fletcher Cox or Aaron Donald or Geno Atkins was very good at, like, reading that type of stuff, because he was almost a two-gap up the field type of guy, to where he would feel the rush or he would feel like offensive linemen getting out. This D-line is uphill. That's the reason they get so many TFLs. That's the reason they get so many, quarterbacks running outside the box and trying to find ways to create down the field. You kill that by running the screen game. Smart on those offenses. This group of guys got to get a little bit smarter with that. And I think, a guy to kind of lead them that way would be like Danico. Like, we got to get a little bit better at this. We got to kind of fill this out. Yeah, we're trench monsters and we want to knock people's heads off, but you can't get burned by a screen, especially if it's like 3rd and 7. Get off the field. Like, field this out. Honestly, do the J.J. Watt swat. Like, that's the next move you got to kind of develop. You're running upfield free for a reason, and it's because they want you to get upfield that fast. So it's going to be awesome to kind of see if they correct that, Jay, because that's one thing that Football Outsiders did kind of do last year, though. They kind of pointed out some of the, deficiencies that the offense had, and it kind of reared its ugly head later. They spoke about, Derrick Henry running, the effectiveness of it, and that was something that took a hit. And I know Derrick was out, but when you got time to playing good on good in the playoffs, what happened? Football Outsiders predictions kind of rose to the forefront of it. It's like, it's only good for so long, and you kind of don't correct this throughout the year. Attack it in training camp as far as challenging your cornerbacks as far as seeing screens. You can't trade a 1-for-1. That's one thing coaches say in the screen game. I don't want to trade a 1-for-1. Don't go hit the pile and still let the wide receiver go out free. Get some of that yak. So we'll see what this looks like. But again, I say compliments to the defensive line as far as being able to rush the quarterback, but it can also bite you in the butt if teams scheming you like this.
Colts stat, just because why not?
There's a Colts stat too.
Well, there's one for every team in the league. So you can ask me others if you want. But Indianapolis rose from play action on 25% of passes in 2020 to 34% of passes in 2021. So they started using play action more, went from 21st to 3rd in the league between 20 and 21. Had one of the larger gaps between play action and other passes. In play action, 8 yards per pass, 16.1% DVOA compared to 5.6 and 0.2%. In 2020, the Colts put up a reverse split as they were better without the play fake than with it. Maybe that's because it was Rivers and Wentz. I imagine it probably was.
Mm-hmm.
Different quarterbacks do different things. We know Tannehill's good in the play action, so you saw a lot of play action.
Yeah.
When this team's at its best, it's running the play action and giving them those options.
Giving those options across the middle of the field. Coach is going to be interesting to me, man. They don't have much of a wide receiver court. I like Michael Pittman Jr. Their defense is very solid. Their run game, running back, of course, he got a lot of national praise this past year. And, of course, they're gushing over him right now as the start of training camp kind of happens, too. Jonathan Taylor's nice. He really is. That screen game that we speak of, that'll be something where, Matt Ryan is not a mobile type of quarterback. And if the Titans get after him, which they will because this is a division game, then the screen game is going to be crucial. It's a matter of who can spy and who can honestly make tackles at that linebacker position. The one guy we hadn't talked a whole lot about that I'm hoping that can help this Titans team is Zach Cunningham. We really praise, Money Rice. We've kind of threw a lot of games, David Long Jr. name out there a lot. But the one guy who is a veteran on this team, played at Vanderbilt, that I want to see step up in a major, major role this year, considering he has a full offseason with the Titans, is Zach Cunningham. The role in which he can play for this team in the middle core to kind of be a leader type for them, man. They picked up his contract and everything else behind it. I'm expecting a lot from him this year, and I think most of this fan base has got to be thinking the same thing too, because we don't speak enough about the role that he could play for this team. Mm-hmm. Anytime we speak about the linebackers, it's who? It's Money Rice, and it's mostly David Long Jr.
Yeah, Cunningham against the run is elite.
That's what we got to see, Like, that has to be a huge point and improvement for this team this year. It's the underneath side of the way teams going to attack this defense. The front line is phenomenal. You can't say, I don't know if there's much of a weak spot. Starting with, Jeff Tierre, you go, Harold Landry, who got paid. We don't speak enough about that. Bud still being in the fold, and Danico. And there's a lot of role players on that defensive line, too, that's got to be good. That linebacking core, I think, has a high pedigree of players there, too. David Long, yes. Money Rice is a heat seeker when it comes down to making tackles. And the one veteran that needs to show up is Cunningham. So we'll see if that's something that can, kind of take the pressure away from the screen game, Jay, is him.
Just a few more that I haven't gotten to look at all of them, but the Bills, who are your Super Bowl favorites, the stat for them, the Bills' defense was absurdly good on deep passes last season, including defensive PI. The Bills allowed just 7.2 yards per attempt on passes of 16 or more yards throughout the year. Every other defense allowed at least 10. The NFL average was 12.4. So they were better by 3 to 6 yards than the rest of the league on deep pass defense.
Yeah.
And they got Vaughn now.
Week 2?
Yeah.
We get an opportunity to see.
Again, I think the best thing is you get them early if you're the Titans, because it takes some teams a little bit of time, a lot. Mm-hmm. Some of them come out of the gates a little bit slow. Maybe the Bills are just going to dominate everybody, but I'd rather play them early than late.
Yeah, because they're still figuring it out at that point. And you get them in week 2, and they got a week of film under their belt too. So that's that matchup is good. Good for the Titans getting that type of primetime game, man. That is, and the payback season, man, has got to be a part of this, Jay. The Titans they didn't embarrass him. But I don't know if there was many people that picked the Titans to beat the Bills the way they did. And for Jeff to really jump on the scene that game, too. Like, I ain't going to say he single-handedly got that stop, but he was a huge part of stopping Josh Allen on that short and sneak
he
right
was.
there. Or that
Allen
third
slipped
sneak.
a little bit, but it was both sides of it that caused it.
I'm giving credit where it's due right there. He was over there on Jeff's side, and he picked the wrong side to hit. And they got Raj on the other side this year. That matchup between Jeff and Roger Saffold is that's what my eye is on this week, man. I mean, that week is those two dudes.
And Bills are super, super talented.
They're
Titans
good.
have played them very well in the last few years. That ought to be good. The Giants, who is the week 1 opponent, the stat from Football Outsiders, again, this is a list of shocking stats. 1 per team is what it is. The Giants stat is Giants had the worst defense in the league against runs out of 3 wide or 4 wide sets, with 9.6% defensive DVOA, 4.8 yards per carry allowed. No defense in the NFL faced more runs with 3 or more wide receivers on the field. So they put wide receivers out there, run against them. They couldn't do anything against it. Gave up a ton.
Oh, wow.
Well,
we'll see. This is the Giants, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Saquon will be back this year. He's got a lot to prove, man. I wonder what it's going to look like. What was he, number 2 overall prospect? That matchup between him and Derrick Henry, who's going to get the most yards, is Why not? We got to paint that one up right there, Jay. I like that idea.
Steelers, just because.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's strong record of drawing pass interference penalties is widely documented. But last year, the Steelers were good at drawing all penalties. Their opponents were flagged in 2021 a league-leading 154 times. And yes, that includes 17 DPI penalties, second in the league behind the Colts.
Ooh,
which we
DPI.
already knew because, Wentz threw it up and it was a bunch of PI. Remember Titans fans talked about that in the Indy game? A lot of Colts offense from Wentz was drawing PI flags.
It was
just throwing deep.
Yep. They lived off the hope. They lived off the hope creed a lot. Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah, it did.
Pretty
work.
well. I mean, they didn't get to the playoffs, but it did work. It did work in situations, obviously.
Well, that's because of the Jags.
Yeah, you're right.
What do they say about them, man?
About the Jags?
The Jags. Yeah, I just want to hear because a lot of people saying that they're not going to be a playoff team this year, but you have to think with Trevor Lawrence having a competent head coach and offensive coordinator and everything else around them.
I think they're like a 5-6 win team, maybe.
Could he be dangerous to the AFC South at any point in time?
I think they're going to be a lot more sticky than they were last year.
Okay.
They're going to be an obstacle a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think they're there yet, but maybe 5-6 is too much. They'll win 4. They're much more, maybe even 5. But they're a competent team, probably. And I still believe in Trevor. But what it says is the stat. Trevor Lawrence got worse with the more pass rushers he faced as a rookie. When Lawrence faced 3 pass rushers, the Jags had 6.8 yards per play, 16.6% DVOA. With 4 pass rushers, those numbers became 6.1 and minus 4.7. Against a blitz of 5 or more, the Jags had 3.9 yards per play and minus 35.7% DVOA statistic. So the more you threw at Trevor as a rookie, the worse he performed. I imagine that's got to be true for most quarterbacks. If you throw a lot at them.
Can't see. And especially for a rookie, you just don't understand. Like, what did they say Fitzpatrick had to speak to Tua about?
Yeah, Alabama Open.
Alabama
Guys
Open.
not getting. You can't wait for him to get Alabama Open because it doesn't generally happen in this
That
league.
one more pat of the ball is where that pressure comes into play, Jay, where picks and bad plays for those young quarterbacks kind of show themselves a lot.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, I see a bunch of people speaking about the Buster Screen retirement and what that can mean for this team. I don't know if it's necessarily going to hurt as much, but we can talk about that. And also, what is his name? Eli Drinkwitz?
Yeah.
I actually need to hear that audio. I see it. I'll listen to it during the break. We can talk about it on the other side. Drinkwitz is a fun guy, and he likes to talk.
You'll
blah.
like this, Jay. It's pretty good. It's really good by Drinkwitz. I don't know what his end goal was, but it's
We'll talk about it after I hear it during the break. It's Jay Martin and Ramon 104.5 The Zone. Hey, with all the hot weather here right now, you might actually be noticing something around your home. Now, I talk about United Structural Systems every day, foundation issues, cracks in your bricks, doors and windows sticking, all of those kinds of things. But you might actually be noticing dry soil right now that's cracking and pulling away from your home. And you can leave holes and gaps next to your foundation. And you might be noticing, wondering what that is. It could be a problem. That combined with cracked bricks is a sign of settlement. And that means you need to have a foundation repair inspection. So if that's something you are noticing, along with the other things that you always hear me talk about when it comes to structural issues, foundation issues with your home, things like bowing basement wall or chimney leaning, cracks in the bricks like we just talked about, doors and windows sticking, all that. You got to get United Structural Systems out there to see what's going on. And maybe it isn't as serious as you think it is, or maybe it's not serious at all. But you got to have somebody you can trust to tell you what's actually up. A+ rating with a Better Business Bureau, locally owned, not a franchise, right here in our backyard for over 25 years. They come out and they'll tell you what's going on for free. It's a detailed free estimate. You don't pay a dime till the work's done. There's no down payments along the way. There's financing available, transferable warranties, lifetime warranty, repairs guaranteed for the lifetime of your home. It takes the stress out of home repair. That's what USS does because they are problem solvers. So get a foundation repair inspection, see what's going on, figure it out, Make sure your house doesn't get devalued. 615-227-2275. That's 227-2275. Or online at ussTN.com. United Structural Systems.
I thought you were going to introduce my record, but with the latest allegations against Tennessee, let's hold up on what my record is because I expected to vacate some wins, and that's going to help my record a little bit. Okay?
Oh, man, this is getting better.
That was Eli Drinkwitz with Jim Rome. Look, Tennessee's going to be the butt of jokes after that, and Eli's always got the jokes. Last year, he was the star at Media Day. Remember, Andy Staples come on and said, if they could just win because he's such a great personality. Yeah. But can Missouri win?
That's going to be tough. That was real petty.
Do you have the longer version of it?
Well, I think that was just most of it right there for the most part.
Not really.
Oh, no, you're speaking about the wife stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the longer version.
I thought you were going to introduce my record. But with the latest allegations against Tennessee, let's hold up on what my record is because I expected to vacate some wins, and that's going to help my record a little bit. Okay?
Oh, man, this is getting better. This is getting so much better. Can I ask you, I wasn't necessarily going to go there, but you would be the beneficiary of that. Since you brought it up, can I get your reaction to the latest allegations against Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I got to question my wife's commitment to winning. You know, I mean, I don't know how much she's committed if she's not engaging in some of these things. I didn't know that was fair play. So, we got to, it was a little bit surprising to see the in-depth nature of what was going on there. But I am sure glad that Tennessee was taking some ownership of it, and we'll see what the results are. But it's pretty interesting for sure.
Yeah.
He had some fun with it.
He did. And I guess he's supposed to take a shot. But I'm just like, dog, like I get it. Like, and I understand recruiting in the SEC means a lot. And Tennessee ended up going to get one of the top-rated players in the state of Missouri this year. Missouri, I mean, you beat them, 62 to whatever last year. They did get Tennessee the year before that, too. Drinkwitz, again, is part of his recruiting. It's part of his, I guess it was his icebreaker going on to that show yesterday or whenever it was, man. But, dude, you don't have much room to talk. Like, you're going to have to see Tennessee this year. Like, what he's speaking about is something that Jeremy Pruitt did, and maybe it's in a position to where he's trying to win over a recruit, and this is one of those, hey, you see what I did to Tennessee moments. I don't see much of a benefit from it. I see a guy that got to go face a coach and team this year that is going to try to run it all the way up on him. I'll be honest. They need to drop about 89 on him and see how committed his wife is at that point. It's just where I'm at. You know I'm petty like that, Jay. Yeah. So
I just think he was having fun with it. Well, I didn't really take it as much in terms of being serious. I mean, Tennessee screwed up bad, and so they're going to take that from some coaches. And Eli's one that's actually willing to say something. I mean, they gave up, 60 to him last year?
Yeah, they gave up 62 to him last year.
It was a lot.
My thing is you say something like that, and you know you got to go see them. Your team isn't all that great from my understanding, Drinkwitz, as a program right now. There's people questioning, like, why are they in the SEC? And, yeah, you can probably say the same thing about Tennessee, the way we've kind of trended as of late. But there's a lot more press around what Tennessee's got going on than Missouri at this point. And you got to go to Neyland this year. And you talked about a coach that dropped 60 on you.
He didn't talk about him.
Well, you spoke about the team, and you saying,
you talked about the university.
Yeah, you talked about the university. If I'm in that position, Eli, you got to get it.
I mean, that's fine, but, I mean, it wasn't about the condition of his program. It was just basically like, they're cheating.
And, of course, you get the 2 wins, whatever the case, whatever it was for that season.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't, but, again, I say to you, if you're going to talk in sports, you either better be king of the hill or you better be able to cash that receipt or return that receipt when time comes. And this game right here, to me, this will come up. This will be one of those, he had nothing to do with me as far as what I do at Tennessee is probably what Hype was going to say. But we'll see what the allegations and the commitment of everybody else around you during that weekend. I hope we blast them by freaking 50 again. That's
you probably will, but I found it funny.
I did too. I thought it was very hilarious. He doesn't look like a guy that would say that type of stuff. And I've said this before. I've heard Babs just brag on how he is very charismatic and how he, can hold court like none other. In the world of sports, though, and just anything, Jay. Somebody say something about you. What? Hey, noted. Writing this down.
Oh yeah, I get it.
All of those things.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
At all. Like I 1,000,000% agree with that point. I don't think Eli cares from that perspective because I don't think he thinks they're beating Tennessee anyway.
So why
potentially?
So if that's the case, why go that route? You know, does he know
funny and Rome is that kind of show?
Is he? Do you think he knows Pruitt a little bit, or maybe Pruitt kind of rubbed him the wrong way? Is that part of it too? Because I never realized coaches were this.
I mean, it rubbed everybody in the country the wrong way, Moan.
Because
they were doing the dead period. They were doing the COVID period recruiting stuff.
Yeah.
Like that dramatically upset like a lot of people.
Well, yeah. Aside that, though, I figured it was one of those, well, you don't speak on my allegations, then I won't speak on yours, though. Do
they have any?
They don't, but at some point, why has any coach came out and said anything other than what Drinkwitz had to say is my point. Like, nobody really mentions anybody else's NCAA sanctions.
Look. Habitual line stepper.
Who?
Eli.
Eli is?
He line step.
Yeah, he just talks a
this
lot.
from him.
He talks a lot.
He's a line stepper.
Yeah, that's what you just mentioned it, Moni. You talked about what Bav said. Andy Staples said
But charismatic.
he would be the pro wrestler in the SEC.
To me, a guy that's like that is a guy like Ogeron. You know, like he's that type of whole court guy. Or
Yeah,
you
but
have
he wasn't a line stepper. He was just belligerent.
who, Ogeron?
Yeah, just
Go talk with hey, you look good at the gas station. Hey.
Yeah.
that's Orgeron.
But this is a direct like shot at a university that you have to see is all I'm saying. You see the point I'm getting at?
I think the balance is somewhere in between.
Listen, he took a shot at Dan Mullen. He's taking a shot at
He
Auburn.
has?
Yes, that's what he does. He just has fun.
How is that actually going for him, though?
Well, look.
Well, he's at Missouri.
It's fine. He's going to be fired in 3 years. It's fine. It's fine.
So I'm like, you're not helping yourself.
See, look, I'm going to take a step back from that a little bit.
Go ahead.
Obviously, it was in jest.
Yeah.
And he was goofy. And
he wasn't mean-spirited.
And he was goofing. But, shush. But you can only do that so often until you better be backing it up on the field. And they didn't just get raced last year. They got Josh Norman.
Yeah, they got killed.
So this is all fun and games until it's not fun and games anymore.
Yeah.
That's, I think, where we're at.
So with that being said, the way y'all describe Drinkwitz, it seems to me he's a guy that would be a phenomenal number 2 or number 3, a guy that can crush it in recruiting, get the players to come around the round table, go into moms and dads' houses and talk to grandmama and eat all the food. But he's not a number 1.
No, I'm not going to say that. No.
I don't know. He's in Missouri.
He's at Missouri in the SEC. I'm not going to say that.
What was he at before then? What is his track record?
He was
I
at
actually have that
Appalachian
pulled. Appalachian State.
That doesn't mean he's
Went
not a
12
number
and
1.
1.
He might not be a 1 in the SEC. Doesn't mean he's not a 1. So I don't agree with that assessment, Moan. I know what you're saying. That maybe that's what he is in the SEC, a la a Derek Mason from Vandy to Auburn, you know, and where he's moved along. But we don't know if Eli Drinkwitz is a big-time coach in this league because we're not there yet.
5-5 and 6-7 in the SEC.
Oh, he's in Missouri. He's in Missouri.
But if you're going to have a big mouth, you better be able to move the needle.
Well, he does move the needle. Look at what we're doing.
Right.
That's the whole point.
I'm talking about, but none of this matters. It matters, but it's like his resume, his career is based on what he does on the field.
I think you're taking it slightly too personally because you're a VFL.
No. What I'm saying is this. We've seen a guy do this before and actually get results. Lane Kiffin. He kind of actually backs it up a little bit. When Lane does this troll job like good. And, of course, we talk about him. We speak about all things that he do because Lane is good at that. I give credit where credit is due. He does the social media well. He does the trolling well. He does the, at the podium stuff well. And he kind of puts it on the field. He's put guys in the league. He gets recruits. He does the transfer portal. I don't hear any of this around Eli Drinkwitz for a guy that's 5-5 and 6-7 is what I'm saying. Coming from Appalachian State and in a conference that is dog-eat-dog.
But I'll say this. He can have these quips and do this, and it's all fun and games.
Until?
You're 2 years down the road, and this is your record.
But at Missouri, if you're 5-5 and 6-7,
no,
it's not Vanderbilt, but it's also not anywhere close to
Vandy catch a stray.
A university that he's got a little bit of a longer window.
True, but it was also not that long ago that they were competing in the SEC West.
Who's that?
Missouri. When they first came into the conference. Yeah, that was a while ago, but that's a school with at least a little bit of history and pride.
His win against Tennessee is the 2021.
If you're Missouri, you're hoping you become Kentucky.
Right.
That's what you're aiming to be. So if you stay at that level and you're at 6 or 7 wins and you're not making a Kentucky-like jump, you're getting bounced.
I kind of feel like if Missouri, you kind of want to be Iowa State. You want to be talked about again as a team that could surprise people.
No, if you're a money person at Missouri, you want to be where Kentucky's at right now.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at it from a team that's a little bit closer to where they actually are. Like where Kentucky is in the SEC, I'm saying you want to be what Iowa State has become in their conference, where they were supposed to be a surprise team in the top 15, top 20.
And as I've said, Missouri's had those moments in their history. So, yeah, I would agree with that.
I gave Drinkwitz too much credit. He lost to Tennessee both times.
Yeah, they haven't beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why him saying that is a little you side-eye.
He's trying to get the win by
funny.
default.
Yeah, like I said, if you go look up all the things that he said over the past few years, look, he's dogged out the Big Ten and the Pac-12. He just has fun. Like he said, this is what he said during the pandemic. He said, I got enough crap to worry about playing Alabama. Can't figure out whether or not the Big Ten or Pac-12 are going to yo-yo around and play football with us or not. If they're playing, great. Love it. Love the game. Awesome game. Like there was a deal where Donald Trump kept calling Nick Saban Lou. And
kept calling him by his dad's name.
Yeah. And so Drinkwitz was just like, hey, if we get to play Alabama this season, is it going to be Lou or is it going to be Nick coaching? So he took a shot at the president as well. He took a shot at Dan Mullen. And he actually used a quote that I will say this line, he said this on a radio appearance, and they called it an all-time quote on Dan Mullen. I bet Ramon would say this one right here is one that you then bring back out after what he said if you don't like what he said or if you take it overly seriously. He says, my father-in-law is a farmer. There's an old saying, you reap what you sow. If you sow kindness, you reap kindness. If you sow jackass, you get jackass ability.
That's what he said?
Yeah, about Dan Mullen after an incident at Florida.
Oh, was that the golf club? What was it?
That was after Dan Mullen was fired by Florida. That's what he said about Dan Mullen.
Sure did. They had a little podium beef too, didn't they? Yes, they did. Something happened with the Nerf gun or something, right? God, I needed to follow that. Has he beaten Florida? Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Yeah. They beat Florida in overtime, 24-23 in 2021. Okay, well, look. If he's able to close deals and get recruits, because that's one thing we're all looking at here is the SEC is about who's going to get the best recruiting class for the most part. Yeah, the scheming and the coaching means the most, but he better be able to close deals if this is his means of operating by calling other teams and coaches out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where he's at. And that's kind of where I was with my look, come on, Eli, you're going to have to pay this toll at some point in time. Either you're going to beat these teams or these teams going to beat you out of the SEC is how I kind of looked at it. But that's his mean of rocking, and, hey, better be ready to pay the toll, man.
I mean, he puts Missouri in the news by just being willing to talk.
What were they in the Big 12?
They were all right.
Missouri was all right in the Big 12. I knew about 2 guys that came out of Missouri.
I mean, they were in an SEC championship game.
Well, Ziggy Hood came out of Missouri.
Ziggy Hood came out, and Sheldon, wasn't it? No. It was another D lineman that came out of Missouri, too.
He said at Media Day last year, appreciate everybody being here today. You begin to appreciate the tough sports writers who last to day 4. You see empty seats here. Some guys aren't cut out for life on the road, don't have their pandemic legs underneath them.
These are quotes from him.
He also said a shout out to Paul Feinbaum for his contract extension. Nobody steals a show quite like Paul. Start out SEC Media Days by leaking that news, so congrats to Paul on that.
No, he's self-aware.
That's the other thing is he's in on the joke. He's in on the joke.
I'm tripping off of it because y'all, of course, I'm not going to disrespect him by saying he's not a number one as far as a head coach goes.
Well, I mean, you already did disrespect him 10 minutes
Well, here
ago
I go. I'll
that.
say this again. He seems to be okay. And the only reason I say this is simply because Jeremy Pruitt just kind of tricked people into believing he was the number one. You see that's where I'm really at with making this type of statement. He tricked people into thinking having us think he was a number one. In all actuality, he was a number 2 or number 3 guy. And that's okay, too. Like, if you're going to be a number 1, though, you better have a doggone good staff. You better have a whole lot of confidence in your job, and you better get results, too. Because you will be ousted very fast when it comes down to this type of stuff. Like, if you're going to talk good, talk. But you better back it up because you're the one that's going to fall first.
What he said about Arkansas is pretty funny, too.
Arkansas. This is while Sam Pittman is there?
No.
Oh.
I think this. Well,
yeah, it has to be.
The Arkansas Democrat-Gazette sports editor called it a cheap shot.
Oh, wow.
He said, because I guess they're talking about rivalries and changes with expansion and all this stuff. And he says, I kind of like the rivalry we've got with Arkansas. I don't remember the last time they beat us, so I kind of like that one. The battle line rivalry. It's pretty good for us. I think we'll just keep that one right now. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because they've beaten them 5 or 6 times in a row.
Yeah. Arkansas.
In 7 of the last 8 years they've beaten Arkansas.
They did get Arkansas in 2020.
2015 is the last time Arkansas beat them.
What?
And, yeah. Missouri beat them in 8, in 14, in 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Did they get them in 21? No, they lost in 21.
So that was before the 21 season. This quote.
Damn so ain't.
So again, he's somebody that's in on the joke, kind of like we are.
I know
a lot of the time.
But Jay, we don't have to go out there and physically perform though. Like that's the difference. Like Sam Pittman is going to run his face into the ground the next time. I hope Heupel and his staff does too. I hope Florida gets him too.
Well, Sam Pittman needs to know what asthma is first before he starts running.
I think we need more guys like Eli.
We got Lane.
Well, we need more guys like both of them.
We have.
Although with Lane, I'm tired of the legalized cheating thing. We got to stop Lane.
He's crying wolf
We got to
now.
stop with this.
He's crying.
You're selling this narrative hard. We have to stop with this. Knock it off.
I just like I like when people say interesting things.
Hey, Lane.
Quit bitching.
Oh, one of my former teammates is on his staff. Look at Casey Woods. Oh, that's crazy right there. Casey Woods.
All right, so get him on the show so he can yell about Eli.
I'm gonna reach out to Casey Woods.
The deal with Dan Mullen was the Star Wars moment too.
With Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen.
That's what I was getting at.
Put up the hood.
When he came out. Yes, that's what
Eli.
it was.
That's who he is. He's a fun dude.
Mullen came out with it first or something. Yes. I knew he had a little bit of a get back. Eli actually played too at Arkansas Tech. Never heard of it.
615-737-1045. You would love this if it wasn't Tennessee, Moan.
No, I wouldn't because I'm sure I've said the same thing about UT. We better be ready like that. That's me, Jay. You know that. Like, if you're going to talk, you better back it up. And when I get you, it's
so
zero
you don't
mercy.
like this. So you don't like this at all, do you?
You got to do something first.
But if you're doing it to have fun, if you're doing it as part of the shtick, as part of the gimmick that you're in, you know what you're doing. Everybody else knows what you're doing.
It doesn't look like Missouri's anywhere close to a payoff, though. You see what I'm saying?
Maybe that is the payoff. Though. Like, they're going to play football anyway, but he just says things that are interesting, entertaining, fun.
You know what?
All of that. But you know what he's doing. It's almost like a Key and Peele sketch. You know what's going on here.
That's like me stoking the fire to somebody that you're like, hey, don't tick them off, man. Like, shut up. Like, I had people, I was talking trash one time during the game, and I had a guy that's like, hey, man, I got to face him. You stop talking. I was like, oh, okay, I got you. Like, it's those types of things. Like, he's putting his players in the crossfires of this is how I kind of look at it. But
I guess I just don't think anybody takes it that serious.
I think it's funny, but all right.
Doesn't mean that. I mean, not as players. I mean, I think they're going to get drubbed by Tennessee if they play them this year anyway.
That's the point.
You don't take it seriously until you have to take it seriously.
Well, of course,
that's what I'm saying.
This will rest, and
I mean, it's fine. It was on a Wednesday on Jim Rome's show. Who cares?
Yeah.
But receipts always come due, man.
Look, if there's audio, you can always use it if you want to. Maybe Tennessee tried to use that Notre Dame stuff during the College World Series. Didn't really work out, though.
Look, when we talk about player and coach motivation, our friend Blaine Bishop used to make up stories about other players to motivate himself.
Well, he didn't actually go out and say that in the media. He just grabbed it, kept it for himself, and used it as motivation.
So the point being is that, you put any chum out there, Sharks are going to go get it.
Agreed.
We had no reason ever using Bart Scott. Can't wait. And you know what happened after that?
You ended up using Bart Scott.
He wasn't even talking about us. He wasn't, and we used it.
615-737-1045. That's the telephone number, 737-1045. 15 minutes from right now, it's time to gripe. We kind of just did some of that, but
We did.
8 a.m., Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers. Go ahead and get your gripes ready. More opportunities still to come a little later to join us for SummerSlam Saturday at Nissan Stadium. It's Jay Martin, Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. So I was reading more Elijah Drinkwitz stuff during the break. Reading an article about him changing the culture and self-deprecation's his thing. He's got a Conan O'Brien thing where he roasts people, but he also roasts himself like pretty regularly. He went on Paul Feinbaum, called himself a 5'10" dorky white guy, has no business being a college football coach. He also says he's unrecognizable off campus because of suffering from what he calls common face. And he said his thinning up top, he says, I got about 6 haircuts left. But then about Saban last year, he said, give him some Little Debbies to not beat the hell out of us. Of course, Saban eats a Little Debbie every morning and eats them all the time.
With a Coca-Cola?
I think maybe a Diet Coke.
With a Diet Coke?
I believe that's what it is. But yeah, like he dishes it out, but he also dishes it out to himself. It's kind of a South Parkish way of everybody's here and all this stuff. So people are like, yeah, at some point you just kind of realize what he's doing.
Here's the thing, though, and I agree with all of that.
Yeah.
And I do find him entertaining. But for those just joining us, when you say this even in a joking manner.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to introduce my record, but with the latest allegations against Tennessee, let's hold up on what my record is because I expect them to vacate some wins, and that's going to help my record a little bit. Okay?
Oh, man, this is getting better.
Yeah, it's funny. But you're going to catch a few strikes.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
also glad he exists. Because he says fun stuff and he has fun in a business that sometimes gets way too serious.
I remember when he got hired at Missouri and I saw his profile picture and I went, that guy, he did my taxes last year.
Right, and he would tell you the same joke
Exactly.
and has told you the
100%.
same joke.
Like one of the greatest drivers in NASCAR for the past 20 years is a guy that looks like he does your taxes, and that's Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
Some guys just don't look the part, but they get the job done.
Was wild, though, is I've actually heard his name. People speak of him more than I've actually seen his picture. And I may have seen his picture or photo of him and didn't realize it was actually him. You're right. He doesn't look like he's supposed to be a coach, but those are the guys that are usually pretty brainy and pretty good, too. So I'm not going to knock him on his look.
No, I mean, he seems to be a good dude.
Yeah.
He's definitely a lot of faith in his life, too. But he says, my wife says she lets me live off the Auburn salary. His first job was a low-paying analyst role on Gene Chiswick's staff at Auburn.
It's who knows who.
So he's always having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. Like, again, you got to be able to laugh at yourself.
They got a national championship on that team too, then, if that's the case.
Yep, that's correct.
Good for him. National championship winning coach there.
Just know, anytime you say anything Vols related.
What? We called her straight for no reason. Like, that is the point, too.
No.
Wait.
Let me finish. That you're correct. Y'all do have your antenna up, though, most of the time. Both things are true.
Safe.
Both things are true.
I can't believe
both things are true.
Come on, man.
Both things are true. That's right.
Hey, come on.
Can you spot the lie? Can you spot it?
I was about to say, come on, man. No. Come on, man. Hey, listen to me.
Y'all are a little sensitive.
He was going on a show to talk about his university, and he talked about us.
I get it.
And he's 0-2 against us.
I get it. I don't disagree with that.
He should have picked Vandy.
Yeah.
Vandy didn't cheat, Mom. Tennessee did.
They should.
Clark Lee, we talked about you need to get creative and do the triple option. You need to do the triple Chick-fil-A. Just put it in a bag. Grilled sandwiches, nuggets, diet lemonade.
By the way, Ron Slay commented on that.
Shout out to my guy, Chris Williams, man. Hey, that's all I'm going to say is I want the best for Vandy. I told y'all, I know, and this is
you
why.
Want them to cheat?
I told y'all. I said last time I tried to get on the soapbox for Vandy, y'all shot me down. Y'all shot me down, man. So because of that, you only get this one way now, okay? So, yeah, there we go. There we go, man. So good. I tried. I'm back to the old me. It's football season, Jay.
615-737-1045. Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers is coming up at 8, but it began at 7:30. 615-737-1045. Get on the line and gripe. Yell at whoever you want to yell at. Call out whoever you want to call out. I'm calling out a really good wide receiver.
Ooh.
Real good for saying something stupid. and then trying to clarify it and making it worse.
It's got to be Tyreek.
615-737-1045. Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers after the headlines on the Zone. MIG has a new tool to help folks fight rising interest rates. That's Mortgage Investors Group. It allows you to pre-qualify, lock in your interest rate when you shop for the right home. Once your rate's secured, 90 days to find and purchase that new home worry-free. You have a float-down option also. That's going to allow your renegotiation should that rate improve from the original locked-in rate. So everything actually benefits you. Mortgage Investors Group's Lock, Shop, and Save program available for conventional VHA, VA, and rural development loan types. No contract required. No upfront fees. You can switch to any other program once your property is identified. I need you to call them, get in touch with them for your worry-free solution. Lock, Shop, and Save today with the Southeast's leading mortgage lender, Mortgage Investors Group, here to help you get the right home loan. They're committed to seeing you close on time, get that loan structured right. Home buying goals a reality. MIG difference on Zillow, over 2,600 reviews. Go to migonline.com to learn all you can. migonline.com to find the office nearest you, or text MIG to 31399. That's MIG to 31399 to get pre-qualified. Mortgage Investors Group, the right home loan, equal housing lender, license number 109111.
8:01, good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. Day one of Titans training camp in the books. They return to the practice field today at 9:30. Curious to see what the weather conditions will be at that time. The Buck Rising Show will be broadcasting live from St. Thomas Sports Park at 10 o'clock. Guy who had a really good day on and off the field yesterday was Treylon Burks. He was asked about his asthmatic condition.
What are some things you did to handle the asthma better from?
Conditioning, running, putting myself in situations where I know that my asthma will flare up, and just being able to push through it and, just be dominant.
Phillies defeated the Braves 7-2 yesterday. Atlanta has lost 3 of its last 4. The Braves 3 games behind the Mets for first place in the NL East. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once. On here over the Titans and the Vols, this is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Hour 3, Jay Martin.
If you were watching on Zone TV, you just saw Jason take the largest yawn ever.
It was like that.
Hibernating.
It's like that sometimes, man.
Played it. Yeah. Yeah. 615-737-1045. Jay Martin and Ramon, lifted up by all 4 Seasons garage doors in Nashville. It's time to gripe, yell at people. It's time for me to go off at, I do think, a Hall of Famer.
Hey, now.
Somebody I really like. Let's just play the audio.
And I'm like, it wasn't enough. I'm like,
615-737-1045. People are just like, oh, you got to put in coffee. You got to do all this. I can't. I'm fasting for an appointment after the show. So I haven't had food since dinner last night. And didn't realize I had to fast until I woke up this morning. And Abby was like, you probably should fast. Like, crap. And I was sick yesterday. So, yes. Ron's like, hey, is Jay a little down? Yes.
Actually, in this situation, crap's the last thing you got to worry about.
Yeah.
hey, man.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Just got to get to 11.
Wasn't playing
Am I
along.
wrong?
Just got to get to 11. I got a Built bar and another protein bar in the bag as soon as I get out of this thing. Strap on the feed bag. All bets are off. All right, I'll go first. I love Devontae Adams. I love him. I think he's smart. I think listening to him break down football is amazing. The attention to detail he's paid, the professionalism, all of it. He deserved every cent that he got. I'm very high on the Raiders this year. I actually might pick them to win the division.
Hey, now.
I think they're a legit contender. But what he said, man. He was asked by Josina Anderson and our guy B-Mac, Brian McFadden, about his situation, all stuff. And he said, anytime you change quarterbacks from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. He means changing from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr. And he referred to both of them with the HOF tag. And so I read but all right, that's okay. Look, you're mobbing for your guy. Tyreek said this stuff about Tua, right? Then he goes to a press conference and clarifies what he said. And he says, being a rapper, it's very vital. You got to have the bars, obviously. The line's got to be there. But a very, very vital and critical piece of being a rapper is the delivery, right? I was not a great rapper the other day. Okay? Like, I'm intrigued. Tell me more, Devontae Adams. And And he says, what I'm not going to do is take away from that statement because why is Derek not a Hall of Famer? I left one key word out of there because that's not exactly what I meant, but I do think Derek's career is Hall of Fame worthy, and why not? People can say that about this guy or that guy. What I would say is, does he have the MVPs right now? No. Has he won a Super Bowl? Not yet. That's obviously what we're chasing. But what I meant to say was, he's still clarifying, even if you go from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, it's an adjustment. I wasn't saying Hall of Famer Aaron to Hall of Famer Derek, so I'm not retracting my statement at all. What I'm going to say is I'm not going to say Derek's not going to be a Hall of Famer because at the end of the day, I believe that this is not putting any expectations or any added pressure on him because he puts all that type of pressure on himself because of what he expects every time he touches the field. He just kept talking.
Yeah.
He kept talking, and he said, before that he said, but I do think Derek's career is Hall of Fame worthy, and why not? I got an answer as to why not, because it's not. I'm much higher on Derek Carr than many people.
Yeah.
But no.
That's a hard pass for you?
Like, absolutely not. You can't say that. Like when he said, when you go from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, it's an adjustment. He's like, I didn't mean to say that the two quarterbacks, me going from this quarterback to quarterback, they were both Hall of Famers. His problem is one of those dudes is a guaranteed Hall of Famer, the one he just left.
Yeah.
So that guy, when you say Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, you're already saying Aaron Rodgers to somebody. And then he picked up the shovel and then a second shovel that was bigger and just kept digging. And it's like, just stop talking. Just say, yeah, I probably stepped too far. I know you don't want to bury your guy, and he's your friend, and I understand that. No one, including his own brother, thinks he's a Hall of Famer right now. And his brother defends him on television constantly and has his whole career, even when he didn't deserve it. I think he's a good quarterback. I really do. Putting Hall of Fame by his name. Do you know how many quarterbacks have gone into the Hall of Fame over the last, 10, 15 years?
How many is it,
You can count on less than one hand.
Sheesh.
You're about to get a run, right? Ben's going to get in, even if Cam Hayward has a vote. Drew Brees is going to get in. Phillip may get in.
Drew, you said Drew?
Drew.
Tom.
Eli is going to have to get in. Tom's going to have to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Eli doesn't have to get
I
in.
agree with you, but he's going to because he won 2 Super Bowls.
No.
And he beat Brady.
Yes, he won 2 Super Bowls in his last
He's
name
not
is
in my Hall of
Manning.
Fame. He's not in my Hall of Fame, but he's getting in.
Y'all really doing Eli like this? Don't do Eli like this.
So
2-time Super Bowl MVP.
Stafford will have a shot. Matt Ryan might have a shot. There's other guys, but all the ones I just named, you wouldn't put Derek Carr in that class. You wouldn't mention them in that class. Devontae said too much. He said something nice when he's trying to mob for his guy. I get it. I love Devontae Adams, but bleep you, bro. Trying to clarify it and saying, well, I don't necessarily think Derek Carr's career is not Hall of Fame worthy. I promise you it is. It is not Hall of Fame worthy. He has to play between 5 to 10 more years of football at a higher level than he has played to this point. Mm-hmm. All those years have to be better than anything we've seen outside of maybe the year where he got injured and he was on a 3 to 5 MVP pace that year.
Yeah, I remember.
When they were balling out the same day Mariota went down, when they both went down on the same day, that fateful day, that Christmas Eve day. Other than that, he's got to play better than that for the rest of his career to have any shot at the Hall of Fame. So no, Devontae. I would definitely say you could say his career is not Hall of Fame worthy right now, and it's not a slight. It's just a fact. So to Devontae Adams, I hate to do this, bro, because I'm a big fan, but.
That was beautiful, man. And you know what I always say, the guys that get in the Pro Bowl, get into the Hall of Fame, they got to own an era. Derek Carr? Has not owned an era.
He hadn't owned a division. Mahomes has existed throughout much of his career.
Yeah. And he's got 3 Pro Bowls. He hadn't had another one since 2017, but he has 0 All-Pros. Y'all know, as far as my criteria goes for guys that make the Hall of Fame, you got to get at least 3 All-Pros. I'm talking about 3 All-Pros. It's like the criteria for guys that don't win Super Bowls or Super Bowl MVPs or, that type of stuff. So he's not in that conversation. He's really good for an NFL quarterback, Jay. So that was a very valid point. But what does he got to do, Jay? He got to champion his guy. He could have said, potential Hall of Famer. That would have left the conversation open. But he wasn't a good rapper. He said that. That was a great point to be made right there, Jay. I want to wait till after the break to kind of do mine a little bit. We got Eric on the line that has his tune.
We can get to Eric, and then 615-737-1045. You can start to call and get your gripes in. Moan's going to wait, and then Shafe will have his as well. But Eric in Nashville will take us into the break. Eric, what's up?
Guys, I've got three, and I've got a feeling the one I'm going to say may be on one of y'all's guys. But it's got to go to Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals for that whole contract situation. First of all, for the Cardinals, for doing that, it's like, if you knew that, why are you paying them that money? So you get one on that side, and Kyler Murray for letting that get out and get signed. It's just, why are you agreeing to that? So they both get one for that situation. Guys, number two, and these are kind of more comedic ones. A man by the name of Ernesto Cruz from Miami stole $4.2 million from a healthcare corporation. He tried to flee from Miami to Cuba. He didn't go by boat. He didn't go by plane. He didn't even go by car. He tried to flee on an old, broken-down jet ski. That's how he was captured, guys. They was caught with half of the money with him and snacks. So he gets one for being stupid enough to do something like that. Hey, guys, my last one, this comes from Detroit, Michigan. A woman by the name of Kawanta Short filed a $10,000 lawsuit against a man by the name of Richard Jordan from what people would say, I guess, is the date from hell. It was a bad date. Jordan just was willing to forget about it. It was a terrible date. Didn't want nothing else to do with her. But this date happened on this woman's late mom's birthday. So it happened in 2020. The trial was going on through Zoom, and throughout the trial, she was just yelling at the judge. The judge was yelling at her. It was on and on and on. The lawsuit wound up having to be thrown out of court and to be refiled. Why? Because she filed it in the wrong court. So it's just, she gets one for that, just being stupid enough to do something like that. Guys, y'all take care, and we'll talk to you again soon. Guys, I'm going to try and call next week, but I don't know if I'll be able to, because I'm actually going to have surgery next week for a bad hip next Thursday. I'm not looking forward to it, but I got no choice. It just depends on what time it is. But, guys, y'all take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Hey, speedy recovery, Eric.
Yeah, speaking of that, our friend Brad Hopkins going through joint replacement right now. So speedy recovery to B-Hop.
B-Hop, too, man.
B-Hop right now ain't hopping a whole lot.
Oh, my old football injuries come to roost, baby.
615-737-1045. Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers. We'll take it as long as you want it to go, as a matter of fact. Depends on how much stuff that you want to yell about today. We'll come back. Moan will yell. Shafe will yell.
I just yell.
You yell a lot.
A lot.
Callers will yell. 615-737-1045. More Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers on the flip side here on The Zone. Hey, so does your home suffer from constantly clogged plumbing? There is nothing worse than having to reach out to local plumbers time and time again to clear out old pipes. We actually changed out our toilet last week, as a matter of fact. Changed out a sink. We're doing a lot of stuff right now. It's just money down the drain, though, if you have to keep on cleaning out old pipes and not just doing something different. There is an alternative. Lee Company. They are one of the only companies in the area that can offer something called Trenchless pipe replacement. Trenchless pipe replacement. It's yard friendly. It's innovative. It's how you can replace older broken pipes or gas lines. Unlike that traditional process, Trenchless pipe replacement is far less messy. It's less time consuming. It's going to reduce the headaches and hassles for homeowners, and it can help you get the necessary work done faster and for less money. I want you to go learn more about Trenchless pipe replacement, a step up when it comes to that clogged plumbing that's just so frustrating and so frequent for you. Contact Lee Company today, 615-567-1000. That's 567-1000, or visit leecompany.com. That is indeed what we're doing. It's your time to gripe. 615-737-1045. Let's go to Shane in Nashville. Shane, what's up?
What's up, Shane?
Mine is for the WWE for giving ridiculous rules to, I never have really understood Vince McMahon now that he's gotten his old age. Thank goodness he has retired. But my Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers, is that Cody Rhodes is possibly looking at a $1,000 fine every single time he decides he wants to call a championship a belt. I think that is the most ridiculous rule that I have ever heard. It has always been called a belt, and I don't know why in the world they have changed it in that sense. So, for the WWE.
Shane, well, let me explain to you what WWE does. Vince believes in having his own language so that everything else sounds like pro wrestling and his stuff sounds different. So he has these certain words that he forbids you from saying, and he has certain ways that he describes things. Almost all of them are not how human beings talk. And the stuff that he doesn't want people to say is annoying and obnoxious. Your Bleep You is correct, but this is a long-standing problem with WWE trying to create their own language to make them seem different than everybody else that does the same thing. That's their whole deal. It's why they don't ever call it a title shot. They call it a championship opportunity.
Wow.
It's stupid. It's insanely dumb, but it is all the Vince McMahon that you have. And now you have none.
What would it look like? Who knows?
Well, I mean, we know who's in charge, and they've been there for a while.
Is it
too.
Triple H?
He's in charge of creative, but his daughter, Vince's daughter, is in charge, along with Nick Khan. 615-737-1045. That's your telephone number. All right, Mon.
All right, here we go. I got two. I think they're very significant, okay? But here we go, all right? First one goes to restaurants, any of them in general at this point, okay? Because we spoke about this last week. Order some food, and you know what? No, I don't want the hash browns. I don't want the potatoes today. I don't want the grits. I don't want the cheese grits. No, I don't want the breadstick. Give me my main protein, and let me get a side of fruit. The side of fruit is always more expensive, or you're upcharging me for trying to be healthy. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why this is a thing. Why do you charge me for trying to live out here, okay? It's fruit. You just mostly wash it, or you have somebody do the exact same thing they do to all the other veggies that they have in your restaurant too. You maybe have to, quarter the strawberries or wash the grapes, or if it's watermelon, cut them in slices and all that type of stuff. Like, stop overcharging for people trying to be healthier in their lives, man. I get it. I know the demographic. Oh, well, they're going to pay for, if they want fruit, then they'll probably pay extra for it because they need it or absolutely want it. No, stop doing that. Just because I want it and need it, it doesn't mean you have to price gouge me for this, okay? Let me live and pick a healthier option without getting overcharged. A bowl of fruit, $5 when these potatoes are friggin' free? Those people that do that, Shay, hit them with it one time.
You, Aaron Rodgers.
They've been doing it for a long time. If you buy diet foods, if you buy protein, if you buy stuff like that, those things are it's much more expensive to eat that kind of stuff than it is
the potatoes.
You go get a candy bar for $1, but if you want a protein bar, you're spending $3. Like almost on a regular basis.
I can't be the only person that feels this way.
Oh, I hate it, but I've just grown used to fruit's always going to be more expensive. I know fruit is, it's expensive to harvest and all of those other kinds of things. It's there's more that goes into it and all. I also hate that it's $3.49 if I go to Chick-fil-A and I want to get fruit as my option.
Like, come help me out here, people. Like, literally help me. I can't be the only person that feels that way about it. Now, pay attention to how they upcharge you for fruit. It's a first world problem. We can admit that too, okay? All of these are first world problems. The second one that I have is the most important, okay? There was this video trending last week as we enter into football season where a little league coach took a tackling dummy or a tackling ring and he went in a circle, and this kid was running a football drill.
Yeah, you showed me this last week.
And again, the clip was somewhat, okay, it was kind of comical. Then you're like, man, no, that's messed up right there. He took a tackling ring, which those things have some weight on it. They're probably about 15 pounds, that may be 8 to 12 pounds, whatever the case may be. He spun in a circle and pretty much discus threw this into the back of the kid's head, and the kid just flung forward. And I'm like, okay, cool. Kid gets up, and a lot of people's like, man, well, he's teaching the kid toughness. There's a lot of different ways to teach these kids toughness instead of throwing a pad into the back of his head to where he lands on his face and possibly could have had a concussion for all we knew. You see why I protect my kids from playing football at a young age, because a lot of these coaches are dummies. They shouldn't be friggin' coaching football to these kids. You got to preserve the game. That, to me, isn't a toughness thing. You line up across from me, and you let me go against you, and I'll show you toughness, okay? Don't teach kids bad habits. Getting hit in the back of the head with a pad does not exist in football. So for those coaches that teach the game in a dumb, stupid, immature way, since we are in football season, to those people, I say to you, Shafe, with a whole lot of emphasis.
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that video is just like, all right, first off, coach, this win doesn't mean anything.
No!
None of this means anything. And if I bet you parents aren't watching practice. If they are and they're sitting there and allowing that, that's a problem on its own right.
Oh, my God. And then people are like, the kid got up, he's tough. Now, damn that. That ain't tough. That ain't football. That's stupid. That's dumb. That's not a coach. That's a guy that got emotional probably at a kid, and he decided to take him off because he's the coach with the whistle and hit the kid in the back of the head. That's dumb, and anybody should have charged that coach up and smacked him in his face for that. You don't do that to kids in football.
No, it's really stupid. I would just be like, all right, well, we're done, and you should never coach again.
Yeah, that's dumb. Freaking got my heart rate up.
Casey's on line
that.
one. Casey?
What's up, Casey?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Man, all this Lamar hate, man. My bleep you is to this day in DC.
Yeah.
Just talking about he could win 12 MVP. First of all, I don't care what position you at. If you win 12 MVPs, you probably gonna be considered one of the GOATs of the sport. I mean, am I wrong in that?
No,
that's
right.
I mean, it's hard to win one, let alone 12. I mean, so yeah. I mean, to whoever that is, he just sounds like he's mad because he can't stop Lamar.
That's right.
What it sounds like. But man, it's just like it's Lamar is getting to. Well, he's almost the most hated. I don't want to say hated, but like it's like everybody wants to talk down on him just because. I mean, he's getting it done. He's 37-12 since he's been in the league. He won a unanimous MVP his second year. So, I mean, what else has he got to do besides win a Super Bowl? I mean, I understand, but dang, he's not even got his rookie contract yet, guys.
Right.
Like, come on now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand he's not a pure pocket passer. I mean, everybody can't be Tom Brady or Drew Brees or those pure passers, man. So, I mean, as long as he's winning games, I mean, it sounds like you want him as your quarterback.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got, guys. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's week.
It's not, look, there were some dumb things.
Rodgers.
Dumb said in the Sando piece. That's what he's referencing there. Saying, I don't care if he has 12 MVPs, he'll never be a QB1. Then there's somebody that said about Patrick Mahomes, another DC.
Yeah.
Said, get him past his first read, and what's he got? You know who's got the best numbers, the best statistics in the league past their first read since 2018 in the NFL? That'd be Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh.
So it's like, what do you do? Put up 50 on you?
Yeah.
And so you decided to throw that quote out there?
Yeah.
Because some things just sound dumb. That sounds dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Selly says, bleep you Aaron Rodgers to PFF for not having Big Jeff in the top 50. Agreed.
Yeah. That's
You, Aaron
fair.
Rodgers.
Very fair right there.
Totally agreed. 615-737-1045. Schaefer.
All right, Moan.
Let's go.
Got an issue with your former quarterback.
Oh, by the way, your former quarterbacks you're about to mention real quick,
Yeah.
he dropped your name in the interview he just did on radio in Pittsburgh. I assume you're not a me first guy, and he's probably love festing all over you, which is sickening.
We'll take all the pub we can get. So thank you, Ben, before I crush you.
Shout out.
All right, so Ben Roethlisberger did an interview with Ron Cook up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And it was print. I don't think that was audio.
Yeah,
that
it was. It
print.
was in the Post-Gazette
Now,
or whatever.
I will say this, because I learned this when Vince Young was in town. There can be a massive difference between how you read something in print and then when you actually see or hear the person say it. There can be things lost in translation. Hey, Ben, you got to walk off the field, have the retirement, and do the deal. well, I think Kevin Colbert would have been fine if I'd have left then. And Mike Tomlin was like, all right, we'll go ahead and have him. But the owner always wanted me to play. Oh, these kids these days, they're all for themselves and their TikToks and their Skittles. Hey, Ben, you didn't have to say a word. For once, everybody was like, cool, we all actually feel positive about Ben, because that ain't always been the case over the course of his career. And Ramon, you know that's true. Rightly or wrongly. You know.
Come on, man.
So you take the GM and you threw him under the bus. You took this guy.
We do not care. The GM who left.
Yeah, who's gone?
The GM who's going on.
There. No. He's not even there. You took T. You took Mike T., one of the most universally respected coaches in the league. That is. I just remember that poll that was done recently where he wasn't on a list of future Hall of Famers and thought that was insane.
Yeah,
but
it was silly. But
that's
TJ
a whole
wasn't on
different
it
deal.
either.
All right. And then you talk about these kids and coaches and how, well, back in my day, when we were all tough and playing with broken noses and made everything about us. How do you expect Cam Haywood to respond to that when he's still in the locker room, the senior leader on that team, and he's trying to lead these guys? Everything was fine, Ben. Everything was fine. But no, you had to make it about you. So with that, oh, and by the way, no, you know what? I ain't finished. I'm going to let you finish. Ben, you then can't get mad at Cam for pushing back on you, but you started it. So go chill in retirement. Enjoy the first ballot Hall of Fame. Bask in your glory of your playing career.
Hall of Fame with Derek Carr.
And shut up.
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, that's my quarterback, okay?
Still right.
That's my quarterback.
Yeah, he said he talked to you yesterday.
Yeah, we talked for a little while yesterday, man.
Oh, I know people are saying he clarified his statement. Look, don't let facts get in the way of my rant, okay?
Well, with that being said, Cam and Ben have had those conversations before, too. So there I was in the middle, like, first Cam hits me up about the top 5 list, and now I got to hang the list, too. Like, hey, you see my role in I never made a Pro Bowl, although I should have. But you see my role on the team.
You're going to blame that on Dave Clawson, too?
Nah, absolutely not.
Come on, that was a good joke.
That was a solid joke. That was on me. Maybe I should have did a little bit more.
So here's one for you.
That's my quarterback.
I wasn't even going to say that. I was going to try to find the quarterback tiers.
Can I get one more before we go to the quarterback
absolutely.
tiers?
You got another?
You know.
Uh-oh.
There is a guy who just signed with a team by the name of Boy, he looks really happy right now.
Yeah, real happy.
And he looks really healthy and really energized.
Motivated.
And I'll say this, when he was on the field, he was out there playing. He was out there balling out. I'm not going to question that.
Factory.
But Julio right now seems more positive and giddy to be in that situation than seemingly any time when he was here in Nashville. Julio! Tell me that you kind of didn't want to be here without saying you kind of didn't want to be here. Huh? Huh?
Like, you, Aaron Rodgers.
Fine, A.J. Brown. I'll go. Just don't expect much. Another part of that quarterback tier is the reason I was going to go back to is because Casey talking about Lamar Jackson. 615-737-1045 if you want to gripe, by the way, and get your Bleep You Aaron Rodgers suggestion in. But this DC, man, about Mahomes.
Let it all hash out. Jay.
He says, we love Mahomes because of his unorthodox throws, not because of his natural pocket presence. And when that disappears, that's when they lose. I don't think that's a 1. I think that's a 2. Nothing against the guy, really. I love the kid. Do you? But take his first read away, and what does he do? He runs, he scrambles, and plays street ball.
Who could have said it?
Again, no one after their first read since 2018 has had a higher percentage of completions, touchdowns, yards than Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about here?
Mm-hmm.
Is this sour grapes? He's great with his unorthodox stuff, usually. Now, last year, early on, didn't work and started to work better down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a horrible – like that I can't imagine anybody in the NFL was reading that and thinking, well, there's a smart take. What are you talking about?
Them making these type of statements is comical to me. For no other reason other than the fact that they can't find a tendency. They can't find a rhythm. Like, they can't find a why and how to defend these guys sometimes. I mean, let's think about Lamar and how he breaks away on runs. Like, how you defend that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's Patrick, the same thing. Like, he's falling to the ground and throwing the side throw. I think that's defensive coordinators. If both of those are defensive coaches, Jay, as you give them your Bleep You Aaron Rodgers, they need to find ways to defend this type of stuff. And maybe they just been snake bitten by those guys and they just can't handle it, Jay. Coaches are finicky. A lot of people are finicky in general, but like to not have an answer for something in a world where you always find answers as far as sports go, that's gotta suck for those dudes, man. That's pretty wild. Hate that for them. Who needs to sit this out? Who's on the 104.5 chat?
You know who that is.
I don't know who.
Is Schaefer saying stop?
Yeah, you were like, oh, that's my quarterback. I'm like, dog, you need to sit this one out.
Nah.
You need to sit this one out.
Let me have this. You're right. I will not stop a great rant. Okay. Come on, man.
Ben is seeing in other people what he was himself.
What was wild, though, is one, this is a tight show. We're not going to do this right now. But Julio. Shafe, you done with Julio? Like, what's going to make you be like, yeah, he just didn't want to be here? What aside from his smiles?
Do we want to be real?
Let's go.
I'm playing that up a little bit.
I know, of course, that's what we do.
But do I think there were some tensions or some disagreements or something going on? I think there was maybe something under the surface.
He and head coach were not on the same page.
I don't think he was healthy.
Period.
I don't think he was healthy, but I don't think everything was kosher. I'll say that. I don't think everything was
above board. With the signing, with the playing,
I'm not going to say above board. I'm just going to say I just don't things were ideal.
I don't think coach wanted player.
Oh, wow.
I'm still willing to say that out loud.
Yeah.
I don't think player cared for coach once he got here.
Wow. That's interesting because who was it that we were talking about last year? The DB that had the interview with Steve Smith.
The DB was Steve Smith.
Yeah, we pulled
Logan Ryan?
Logan Ryan. Was that
no,
him?
It was Adoree.
It was Adoree.
Adoree, yeah. We talked about that last week, right?
Adoree, the one thing that Adoree said is, his technique and everything that he did was like, man, I don't play like this. But he still spoke highly of Vrabel, and maybe that's because Vrabel selected him and all those types of things. So you may be right as far as his approach to him. Players and coaches are just like people in general population. Sometimes you just don't like folks, and it's like that too. And that's okay. Adoree got his way up out of here, and so did Julio too. I wish it could have been more to Julio's situation.
Yeah, I mean, there certainly could have been. It just seems to me that Vrabel is a polarizing guy. There are some people that are really in with Vrabel and some people that are not. We know that because we've talked to some of them. We've heard some of them, what they've told us both in interviews and off air and things like that. Like, there are some things about Vrabel that rubs certain guys the wrong way. There are Vrabel guys and then there are non-Vrabel guys. And that's going to be true to some degree anywhere, but Vrabel is much more of
he's a go-harder.
Right.
He played that way.
Very bristly and exactly.
Yeah, he played that way. You got to expect him to
Did you get that feeling about Adoree?
Adoree, I didn't realize, well, he's a go-harder. Most players, you step out there and you got that high pedigree, you're going to be somewhat of a dog.
I guess I'm not saying go harder. I guess I mean, like, don't you think he played at SC and he played at SC when they weren't doing all that much? And it was like, he just kind of came across to me as Adoree. Yes. Finesse. Like, even though they put him back for punt returns.
Yeah.
And that was a disaster because he never wanted to get hit. He never wanted to get touched. All of those things. So he didn't do the things that you would have expected him to do in that role. I'm trying to call him soft because I don't necessarily think that's fair. But he was more of a finesse guy.
He's going to run out of bounds instead of lowering the shoulders.
Jayon Brown was more of a finesse guy.
At linebacker?
Compared to David Long.
Wow.
Which one of those two guys do you think is a bigger dog? If Vrabel was looking at those two linebackers and saying, which one of them reminds me more of me? Would it be David Long or would it be Jayon Brown?
It seems like they love what David Long Jr. does. Period.
That's what I think.
But I've also heard great things about Jayon too.
I think Vrabel's good.
Yeah.
Or I think that Jayon Brown was excellent.
Yeah.
I just don't know that he was Vrabel's kind of guy.
I will say this, just me knowing this, like if you come here as a free agent and want to play on this staff, like you better be a hard-nosed type of guy. Like, that's why Danico fits in so well.
I agree.
Look at the style of player. I think that matters. And sometimes you just might miss on a player's personality. Or this is the other part. You might just select the best available on the board. And you hope they turn into what your identity of your team is. Like, if I'm doing anything with Vrabel, it's like, hey, we're about to take this one out or what? Like, that's my mindset. It's like he has a predator mindset when it comes to playing the game. And that's a beautiful part of it. And
it is, but there are guys that don't want that. There are guys that can't handle that don't respond positively to that. So motivation's different amongst
It's a deep conversation to be had, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I just think that's why you've had that. What'd you say?
On the chat, Christopher Bailey, y'all are some of the most bitter and diabolical haters on the planet Earth. That's awesome, man.
I asked him what we talking about. Put a name on it.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Whatever.
It's all good.
It's fine.
Bleep You, Aaron Rodgers. That's the name of the segment, right? 615-737-1045 if you want to get into that. 18-month sleep regression. You see that? You put that in the Slack?
Yeah.
My FU Aaron Rodgers goes to 18 months sleep regression. It's very real, and it very much can go kick rocks. Is that what's the sleep regression based on?
Well, whoever posted that on Twitter.
Is that a baby thing?
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Get there.
Yeah, I don't know.
615-737-1045. We'll get Coach Mack at the top of the next hour as well. So we'll be able to chat with him before practice starts, see what he saw yesterday, and obviously what is still to come. And Treylon Burks is a story for the right reasons, and that's a positive thing, and you can be happy about that. And now hopefully he builds upon it. Everything he said yesterday should make you more pleased than you were the day before, and that's a positive no matter where you're from. It's Jay Martin on 104.5 The Zone.
Is the summertime heat causing you to lose your cool? Well, don't let a broken down or older HVAC unit keep you from being comfortable in your own home. And it's Ramon Foster. I have the heating and cooling company that can take care of all of your HVAC needs, and they are Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Listen to me. They offer free service calls with their repairs, plus low monthly payments on those repairs, too. And if you do need a new unit, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling offers 60 months, no interest financing. Plus, they can provide the financing for qualifying purchases and free estimates on replacement units. And they also back their work with 10-year parts and labor warranties. So when the summer is at its hottest, and we've experienced that, they are at their best, though. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, available anytime at springhillac.com.
Welcome back, Jay Martin and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone, lifted up by All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. You can still get in your gripes if you'd like. 615-737-1045. Sando's quarterback tiers piece, which always generates discussion. He has now ranked each NFL's team schedule based on opposing quarterbacks. 1 to 32, looking at how many Tier 1, Tier 2 quarterbacks they're facing.
The Titans one's really tough.
Yep. And that's why I wanted to mention this, because I think we all sort of knew this already. We talked about these are the quarterbacks you're going to see. Toughest schedule in terms of the quarterbacks faced is Kansas City. They play 12 games against Tier 1 to 2 quarterbacks, 4 more than last year. No other team plays more than 10. They play Brady, Allen, Herbert, Burrow, Stafford, Russ, Derek Carr, Kyler Murray, Matt Ryan, Tannehill, Trevor Lawrence, Davis Mills, Trey Lance, and Drew Lock. Wow. That's a murderer's row in your first 9, and then Tannehill is 10 on the list of quarterbacks that you face. Number 2 on the list is Tennessee.
What, the hardest quarterbacks to face this year?
They have 10 games against quarterbacks in the top 2 tiers, tied for second most in the league. Matt Ryan's addition to the South was one factor that made it even tougher. AFC South teams drew their 17th games from the NFC North, which means Aaron Rodgers, because you have to play the number 1 team.
Yep.
The scheduling rotation also matches the South with the AFC West, which we already knew. So, quarterbacks that they are facing, we've done this list many times: Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. That's 5 of the 6 top-tier guys. Tom Brady's the only one you're not facing. In the 2s, you get Russ, you get Dak, you get Derek Carr, and you get Matt Ryan. Then you get 3 3s, Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz, Trevor Lawrence, and 2 4s, Davis Mills and Daniel Jones. So the second toughest schedule against quarterbacks is your Tennessee Titans. And number 1 is the Chiefs. And so, look, this defense wants the challenge. They've got the challenge because the quarterbacks that they are facing are world-class.
Sheesh. This is it's going to be an interesting year, and this is the thing about it too. You're going up against teams that have quarterbacks that spin the ball through the air, and I want to see the methods either stay the same and efficiently work for the Titans. Meaning, look, we're going to slow grind everybody out. We're going to limit your opportunities as far as what you get offensively for those Tier 1 and Tier 2 quarterbacks. Jay, like that's it's going to be a very interesting year, man. But this team seems to find a way to shock everybody every year, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to respond to it. And honestly, what comes out of camp as far as, the strides they're going to make. You bringing up that wide receiver screen and running back screen topic earlier is actually very interesting, man, because they get after teams. Like we said just a second ago, Vrabel has a mentality. He played this way, and he wants players to play like him too. So if you're going to be aggressive, you better make sure you got some disciplined guys on your defense specifically that's going to help you win games. That is a tough group to go against. Who's number 1 on that list? That's
Kansas City.
KC gotten all the number 1s, and then the Titans.
What do you think the Colts are?
Colts are probably, what do they finish? They probably are like 11.
They're 24th.
They're 24th as far as
So you're facing the second toughest quarterback schedule if you're Tennessee. The other team in the division you're worried about facing 24th.
Got to get them 2 times.
It's a substantial difference. Colts play 12 games against quarterbacks rated lower than Matt Ryan. That's twice as many as the case would be if Wentz were still the starter.
Wow. What was Matt Ryan? Tier 2?
Yes.
He was Tier 2. Yeah, he was almost the bottom end of Tier 2. AFC South just got very interesting with those two. Carson Wentz now, not so much. But with Matt Ryan playing indoors too, there's not much as far as the elements. He's got to change up. Now he gets an OL that can protect for him if they find the left tackle. By the way, Zeus Brown, Orlando Brown Jr. is not reporting for camp yet too. Speaking of teams you got to play and players, is
and Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates not in camp? Oh,
he's holding out. Man. 2 guys that were on the franchise tag they couldn't figure out
I heard the safety from the Charger, Derwin James
said he would show up.
He's holding in currently. Deontay is holding in currently. Johnson in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's making a little bit of a mistake.
Is Debo holding in too, or are they just not discussing it anymore?
I think DK is, right?
DK is holding in.
DK is holding in, yeah. He's showing up, not doing anything.
Debo had a whole lot of traction this offseason for nothing to happen for him. I actually thought he would be paid by now, considering.
He'll get his.
What's the holdup? And by the way, although he started on the pup this year, Michael Thomas is actually on the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's something right there. I actually thought he was going to be trade value type of guy, or if I didn't know if he want to be in New Orleans anymore. And Caleb Farley, to your point earlier, started with a knee brace and took it off during practice.
Yeah, Robert Woods did too.
Yeah,
right? I don't know if he even started with one, but I know
Robert
he
Woods
didn't
start with one. Yeah, good on him, man. Football season.
That's right.
Here.
Speaking of which, Coach Mack will be with us after the top of the hour headlines. We will talk about what happened in day one, what we're seeing so far, all of these things, because we're closer and closer and closer to that first preseason game against the Ravens, which will be the first for the FAM event at Bowl Patriot Brewing Company. Looking forward to seeing you and hanging out with you that night. It'll be a Thursday, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a Thursday night game.
That's what I thought. I'm totally sure. Yeah, Debo didn't get anything done, but he got AJ paid.
He raised
got AJ in a new place and got him out of there.
So did.
We'll come back with Coach Mack. It is Jay Martin Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
As leaders in disaster cleanup and restoration, listen to me. The pros at ServPro are prepared for anything. Like when a relief valve on your water heater fails and it pours gallons of water into your finished basement while you're out of town. That sucks, I know. But ServPro is prepared for it. Or when an electrical shortage in your office causes extensive smoke and water damage, ServPro is prepared for it. Or a musty odor indicates you might have a little bit of a mold problem. ServPro is prepared for that too. You need a lot more than help sometimes cleaning up, and that's why ServPro is your one-stop shop when disaster strikes. Not only do they have the equipment and expertise to clean up damage from fire, water, or mold, but they also offer a variety of construction services, ranging from drywall patching and document drying, all the way to complete structure rebuilds. There's just one call you need to make to bring your home or business back as good as new and as soon as possible. So if you're in need of cleanup from fire, water, or any unpleasant event, ServPro is always ready to help. Call ServPro and the official downtown Nashville operators at 800-ServPro to see how we can help you get back to like it never even happened. The number is 800-ServPro. ServPro, cleaning, restoration, construction, and franchise are independently owned and operated.
It is 9:01. Good morning from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Day one of Titans training camp in the books. Back on the practice field at 9:30, less than 30 minutes from right now. A guy who had a nice day yesterday on and off the field. First-round pick for the Titans this year, the rookie, Treylon Burks.
Getting my conditionings right, making sure I'm taking care of my body, eating healthier, working out, and just really staying on top of my playbook and, just knowing my role and just being a part of it.
Major League Baseball yesterday, the Phillies defeated the Braves 7-2. Atlanta has lost 3 of its last 4. The Braves are 3 games behind the Mets for first place in the NL East. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Welcome in, J. Martin and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Fourth hour of the show is here. We're on Twitter at J. Martin Ramon. Ramon is at Ramon Foster. Schaefer's at Schaefer on Sports. I'm at J. Mart Radio. We'll be at SummerSlam Sunday. Your chance to win tickets coming up at the end of this hour to hang with us at the big event at Nissan Stadium. Rain, go away, stay the hell away.
Man.
On Saturday, at least. I know we're going to get it the next few days, and we need it. Our grass needs it. I get it. Just allow me to walk the dog in peace.
Farmers need it. Heck, screw our grass.
Speaking of farmers, Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Hey,
protecting Tennesseans for over 75 years, and they bring us our friend Dave McGinnis of Titans Radio. Coach, how are you this morning?
Good morning, guys. Good morning. I'm sitting out here at ball practice waiting for you guys to show up.
Hey.
I'll still be here when you get here.
That's right. It's good to hear. So we heard from Treylon Burks yesterday. When we looked at Treylon Burks yesterday, we saw the video. If you weren't out there, it has to be a positive sign, both to see him on the field looking a little trimmed up and looking in better shape, but also just the words that he said sounding like an adult in the room, realizing, hey, I didn't show up where I needed to be, and so I'm taking care of that.
Well, I mean, all of this, if you've been around this stuff, you could see this coming pretty well because, look, this guy's a talent. He wasn't in condition when he's here, and when he's not in condition, I'm not a medical professional, but I'm sure that has to exasperate the issue that he has with the asthma. And so, yes, and once you sit down and talk with every player before they leave, and especially your younger players, and tell them, okay, now, you've gotten a taste of what this is going to be when you show back up. Just understand that it's going to be even more accelerated than it was during these OTAs. So let's assess where we are, assess where you are. Here's what you need to do in the next 5 weeks to be able to compete at the level we want you to compete at when you come back. And the fact that he did everything of that and then stepped up and as you said, and I agree, was very mature. So look, I wasn't in condition. I was not as ready as I should have been, nor, and what he didn't say, and I can say it for a lot of rookies that come into this league, especially in OTAs, I didn't know really what I was supposed to be. I'd gotten by with it a little bit, collegiately because I was the best guy out there. All of a sudden I get here and everybody is running, at a lot of RPMs, and I'm just not in condition to go at those RPMs. Now, yesterday, I mean, it was really fun watching his athleticism show up out there. And, I just sat there because, you guys remember what I said to you guys, and I just say this because I've done this a long time. I said, just keep your powder dry. This guy is going to be, but he's got to do it first. And so he got the message, and he acted upon the message. Now what he has to do, I mean, it was a great first day for him, but you have to stack days. This success in this league is about stacking days. It's not about stacking seasons. It's about stacking days. So let's just continue on that good stead that he started with. So very positive start for him.
Coach Mack, you know guys go through injuries a lot, man, and one of those guys in particular, very young, talented guy, is Caleb Farley. I read both he and Robert Woods did not have on a knee brace, although Farley started with it and he took it off, Coach Mack. When you see a player take that type of move and say, you know what, I'm going to step on out and I'm going to try this thing for 100%, man, what does it say about him and his recovery as far as Farley starting practice off and then taking that knee brace off later, Coach?
Well, all the ACL injuries and recoveries that I've been around in my years of coaching, the first thing, that they have to be able to cross over once they, get to a point in their rehab, they have to cross that mental barrier with it also. And being able to trust the thing. And so that's always the next step. The medical procedures have changed so much, over the years. But now, during the rehab, and this is an excellent medical group here with Todd Torselli and his group, and a rehab group, with Frank Perino and that group. They know how to get guys ready, and so, but the player himself has to be able mentally to be able to trust his body's mechanisms, especially, in the lower body if there's an injury, to be able to perform at a high speed, cut, do all those things that you have to do and not think about it because it's moving too fast. It's like driving a race car. It's like those race cars we're getting ready to see go through Nashville here coming up pretty soon. They can't think about it. You just got to go. And so I think he's reaching that point, which is a good thing to know.
Hey, Coach, I heard Mo mention this earlier. He was kind of, I don't know if confused is a word, but it was just kind of different for him. The off-season awards that Vrabel gave out. Ramon said he's not really experienced that during his time in Pittsburgh. It wasn't a thing there. Is that fairly normal in the league? And how is that based? What are off-season awards based on?
Yeah, it's very normal. Everyone does it now. Ramon, I don't know. When you were playing, did everybody train at the facility a lot during the off season? Were you there most of the time?
I wasn't there, but most of the young guys were, Coach. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I first started, nobody was ever there, and we never saw the guys until a week after the draft. So, but yes, everybody around the league does it, and really, what it's based on, it's based on, everybody has individual goals because everybody's level of where they are and where they need to be is different physically coming into this league, and also improvement, from year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3 physically. So they have certain standards they have to meet. It's also, with the ability to be able to stack days, within that type of progress. And then, there's some very finite metrics that they measure as far as, here's where you started, here's where you were, here's how you progressed. And so once they go through all of that, they've got so much data now, and then they hand them out. And I think in my coaching career, probably the last 15 to 20 years of my coaching career, we always did that.
Okay. Coach Mack, a guy name that keeps coming up, man, and I don't want to crown anybody. You know that. I believe in, look, you get what you work for eventually. But Roger McCreary names continues to come up, Coach Mack. I'm not saying he's going to have his own island or anything as far as cornerback goes, but he seems to have a knack for the ball and breaking up plays, Coach Mack, on the defensive side.
Well, that's why he was held in a fairly high regard throughout this draft process by most teams because, and again, you talk about finite measurements. We can get everything is measured down to the nth degree anymore. When you go over it and start with the draft. And, of course, the one thing was, his arms are a little short. Well, not really. It's probably been long enough to feed himself his whole life and, everything else. So he's fine. But what you do when you watch film is he was what I like to call an in-phase defensive back. Okay. And in phase in the Southeastern Conference, he's going against guys that he's going to be playing, with for money, in this league. And he was always in phase, and so it never really mattered because he's a sticky type of, he's got just a knack to be able to stay in phase, stay hipped up, shoot his hands through the pocket, just to always be there, and he's a very, very aware player. Now, he's got a lot of work to do because he's going to get a really, really nice baptism when not only during the start of this camp, when the pads come on. But when those other two teams come in here and you work against those receivers for 2 straight weeks and then all of the preseason games, and so, but he's got every type of quality to him that I like, because when he steps out there, any position has to have confidence. But back there, even though you may be a little bit, treading on light ground, you have to act like you belong out there.
Yeah.
Because that's very, very important. And he's got an air of confidence about him. He just doesn't, he's not frazzled out there. And no matter which position they put him in, he seems to be always very comfortable with it. So I'm really looking forward to watching him stack some of these days together, here during training camp, and then watch him in the preseason. And if he can be a contributing factor to this defense this year, especially in some sub packages, which you're going to be in most all of the time, that would really help.
So another guy, same position, Caleb Farley, took off the knee brace during the course of practice, finished up without that on, and then Kevin Byard said really strong stuff about him afterwards. Now, you're not going to expect Byard to say anything otherwise necessarily. It's his own teammate. But what are you seeing from Farley?
Well, he's just, he looks like he's healthy, and look, this guy's a talent. This guy is a top tier talent, but he has not been healthy. And so when you watch him out there, when you see him now being able to start showing some of that, look, this is a big long corner that can run. And this is a guy that if he's up to speed and he gets to where he should be, this will be a huge boost for this defense, because now Ramon just asked about McCreary. Now you're going to be able to move a piece like McCreary around quite a bit if you've got a guy like Caleb Farley that can cement down one of those corner spots.
Also, Ryan Tannehill and Treylon Burks, though, because that's the thing that's got to matter a little bit the most this year, is how those two kind of gel together. They look like they got off to a real good start, Coach Mack, with what you saw, what was reported out there yesterday.
Well, they've been throwing together. That's not the first time he's ever caught a pass, from from Ryan Tannehill yesterday. They've been throwing together. They've been, look, Treylon Burks is a guy that's going to have to learn a lot, to play in this league. Releases, things are different. Field dimensions are different. But, the first throw, I think it speaks a little bit about the first throw of team in practice. It was a play action. He was the X receiver, numbers +2 split. He was pressed. The corner was pressed on him. He gave a nice swipe club move, got by him, and then took off. Yeah. And then Tannehill laid the ball out there as to where only Burks could get it, but Burks had to go get it, and he accelerated and went and got it and dove and got it and rolled into the end zone. So the thing that I liked about that, first of all, it was the first play, right? Yeah. And they said, okay, you're ready, let's go. Okay, we're going to take the training wheels off, let's go. And then second of all, I was as impressed with the release and the escape at the line of scrimmage from the press as I was from just going to get the ball.
Wow, nice, Coach.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
All that's real positive. That's what Titans fans need to hear and want to hear right now. All right, Coach, get out to ball practice and continue to observe things, and then we will pick your brain again next week.
All right, guys. I'll save a spot for you on the sideline.
Yeah, do that. Save a parking spot. That's the important thing. Getting a parking space out there is not
nice.
Is not for the faint at heart.
Right now,
I'm pretty sure I broke many laws over the years at different times trying to find a parking space, parking where I'm not supposed to.
Hey,
I do something.
You
do it, but they tear up your tickets. 615-737-1045. Titans made a transaction today.
Yeah.
Terry Godwin signed. Juwan Green waived. Godwin's 7th rounder in the 2019 draft. Played at Georgia.
Oh, okay. I ain't know much of him, man. Not to say he's not a player.
Well, he's a guy they're going to take a look at.
And just in general, that's barely get started in camp, man. You already gone.
It's okay, Juwan, man. Hope you enjoyed Wednesday. Thursday, we got you a flight.
It was a cool
Stop at 8th and Roast in B&A while you're there. We'll come back on the other side and chat. It's accurate. And it's a plug.
You ain't lying.
615-737-1045. We'll come back. It's Jay Martin Ramon, 1045 The Zone.
I think what's going to define everything and define our season is each and every day we come into this building, how much can we, like Coach said, find your role. Everyone knowing their role and contributing to this team, giving their best for effort. No one knows how far we can go with this team. So I think the message is, each and every day you come here, know your role and do it to your best ability.
It's Big Jeff talking yesterday. The work begins. I've been trying to get to the bottom of the escrow rule and all of that stuff. I'm not far enough close to the bottom to start talking about it.
So what?
Just the idea of putting fully guaranteed contracts into escrow accounts and helping teams kind of get around the salary cap if they have the money to spend up front. Like you see the Bengals who are, powdered eggs are already saying extension with Joe Burrow is a priority already, which is real fast considering his age and contract and all this. But, there's that talk that their owner doesn't want to put $170 million into an escrow account because Deshaun, what is it? They have to drop by March 31st, 2023. Jimmy Haslam has to deposit $169 million into an escrow account for Deshaun Watson.
Jimmy, you got it. At least I think so anyway.
I mean, some do, and a lot of them are going to into television contracts.
Y'all agreed to this.
But there are some owners. Yeah, I know.
That's where Stan Kroenke and the Rams and Jerry Jones of the Cowboys, and we talked about this a couple of months ago, to where that's where the biggest market and deepest pocketed teams could find a competitive advantage against other teams in the NFL.
Oh, they're not on the same page with one another. Oh, bless their hearts.
See one comment to one of the things I'm reading. It says guaranteed contracts should be outlawed in all sports. Interesting.
Oh, wow.
No, there's a balance between them.
No, I say that with a smile on my face. I think it's
that's
dumb.
An absurd take.
Cleveland he doesn't want to put that into an escrow account to pay his players. Cincinnati. Well, I mean, but what? It's either pay him now or pay him later. It's pretty much the same idea behind it.
It's that he doesn't want to put the guaranteed money tied up and have that set aside.
For that talent, it's going to be very ridiculous.
Oh, you're not wrong.
You're
not wrong.
And I'm not trying to be, confrontational about it. I'm just saying, this is business. Y'all got to deal with it one way or the other. I enjoy this side of it for the players that are unique enough to be in those situations. The teams they're always going to gain. That's the thing about it, too. They'll throw that little number, I want to do this type of stuff. No. Y'all are printing cash for the most part at this point with the TV deals and just all the revenue and also throwing in the gambling side of it, too. That has to be a nice little check going to the NFL front offices for that. So
yeah, but to the point, there are some owners that have a lot more money than others.
Oh, yeah.
And they can afford this a lot easier than others.
Oh, yeah.
And as a result, the haves are going to be the haves, and there's going to be some have-nots.
How many? What are the teams off top that you know are the more haves than other? Dallas?
The
Rams. Is Tampa in there?
Sorta. I think they have decent money.
Technically, the Jags are, right? From what we know.
Technically, what you know about Shad Khan.
It's heavy, right?
Could say that.
Bag is a little heavy over there in Jacksonville. That's a hobby sport to him from what we know.
Certainly now Denver.
It's either that or, I'll say, it's either that or make your team attractive enough that where you get free agents. Have a guy that'll want to come there like a Tom Brady or just win. Joe Burrow.
We're not even talking about free agents in this situation. We're talking about Burrow and escrow, and that's a homegrown guy because he was their pick.
Well, they've been waiting for so long to get a guy like Joe Burrow. Again, you see, I don't have no sympathy for this. This is hard for me to talk about when it comes down to them trying to protect themselves when they don't protect anybody else in that business. So tough luck. Do better.
I'm saying there's going to be some teams in some markets that aren't going to be able to compete on that level. If you're getting to that point, we talked about that months ago.
Yeah,
we're like, what does Amy have compared to what the Rams have?
Yeah.
For example,
especially with the new stadium coming. That
do you think the Rams pay A.J. Brown?
Do the Rams pay him?
If A.J.'s their guy and not the Titans guy?
They would.
That's 100%. That's the point. And probably, 26?
Yeah, probably so.
If he wanted nearly 30?
Yeah, they could probably get that out for him. It's just interesting because nowadays it used to be coaches, going against one another as far as like I got the best talent or I can coach my players up. I can coach my players up better than you can. And it was the chess game that goes. Now it's just who's got the big stick, and it's almost like owners are getting to that point. I don't know if we've seen it like this. Why is it like? Is it
not in the NFL, but you've seen it everywhere else?
Why are some,
especially Major League Baseball?
Is it okay? With
Look at the Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers are
Red Sox.
Baseball
Cone buys
way
the Mets, Yankees,
the Mets,
yeah.
the Padres
because they don't have a
is
salary
prime
cap.
example.
They don't have a cap.
And actually, Golden State, to an extent, doing the same
Has
thing.
done it, yep.
And they're
Because of the
doing it
luxury
right now
tax.
because they've
Yeah.
decided, hey, we'll go ahead and pay however many tens of millions for the luxury tax to keep this team together. And you know what it did for them?
Mm-hmm.
Won them a title.
So what you're saying is the actual valuation of the team isn't what the actual team have at the time in the moment. Like the Titans will probably sell for about $4 billion. Right.
Once a new stadium's built.
Oh, okay.
Not now.
But you'd almost say the valuation is in the billions, but the ownership isn't billions liquidity right now.
Well,
They don't
value
have
is
that.
not what you actually have.
Yeah,
Value and
exactly.
liquidity are not the same.
And you don't want to borrow against that if you're an owner trying to compete. I'm with you right there.
Because
then, of course,
this
we're
affects the
guaranteed-
Steelers.
And well, look, and with
that's
guaranteed
the same
contracts,
thing.
it's being mentioned in the chat, but the guaranteed contracts, it's a gamble also.
They are. Just like NIL is in college too. Like all of this is a gamble. But I've also been of the mindset too that the owners and just everybody still is making money regardless. And I know they have the day-to-day functions and spending, keeping the lights on, keeping the water running, renovations, security, insurance, all that type of stuff that a team has to inherit, that they inherit as far as being a team.
Look, no one's crying poor for that.
No.
No one's saying that. We're just saying how there's a different mechanism now that can manipulate competitiveness within the league.
And there are going to be some that are going to be more willing or in a better position to take a risk.
Well, we saw that too. I mean, even in that lockout in 2011, where there was, it was 2010, 11, where they had no air quotation marks salary cap. There was no cap those years. They had an underground agreement that nobody was going to overspend. And I think it was the Washington Commanders that did it anyway.
Washington and Oakland.
It was Oakland too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was real blatant too. It was real kind of hush-hush around that situation because there were like no real big contracts being signed that off season. And then you find out, oh, that was part of the collusion that they had. Like they agreed to not spend a certain amount of money, and now they're back in the same seat again where certain owners, and how long has Kroenke been the Rams owner? That's the next question. Since they left?
He helped facilitate them leaving. That's when
He
Coach
helped
Mack and
facilitate it.
Coach Fisher were there.
Yeah. So are they going to regulate themselves?
Never.
Well, what it says, I was reading an article at Pro Football Talk. It says some will blame Eric Burkhart, I think it's Kyler's agent, on not insisting on a 5-year fully guaranteed deal. But here's the problem. Some teams simply will not be able to put massive amounts of cash in escrow as required by a ridiculously outdated funding rule that needs to be changed. A vestige of an era in which some franchises possibly would have run out of money to pay future guarantees. The funding rule requires certain amounts to be placed into escrow. For Watson, Jimmy Haslam deposit $169 million into an escrow by March 2023. As one source explained it to Pro Football Talk, that's quite possibly a check Cardinals owner Michael Bidwell can't afford to write. And that's another reason for the funding rule to go away. Owners who may not have a mountain of cash now necessarily will have sufficient dollars later, thanks to the TV money, to honor full guarantees. So I don't think the rule changes.
No.
I just think that there are going to be haves and there's going to be have-nots because there's some people that can afford this and some people that can't. And if you happen to be a team that can't, that's going to be another obstacle you're going to have to deal with when you see guys that you want take more money to go elsewhere.
It's so comical to me though that they're waiting on this big payday from the networks. I always was in the mindset that they had it no matter what, and it's clearly not that way, especially when you got guys that have big time family money or big time family businesses. Either way, the business is going to go on, and guys are going to get paid, and the owners will too. It's dirty money. Somebody's going to get it somehow, some way. I don't know, Jay.
Everybody's getting paid.
Everybody's getting paid in the league for sure.
Every player, every coach, everybody's getting
So
paid.
dismissive.
Oh,
of me or you?
No, Ramon's being dismissive.
I am. Just give me ball. Let me see the offseason signings and all of that. Like that's just. it's zero concern to me as far as they go, because I've always believed that some programs, some organizations, NFL is what I'm speaking about specifically, and y'all kind of heard me.
Saying about anybody getting paid less.
No. I'm just saying this. They're griping on an article was written about this, whether it was from the owners that sparked this type of conversation or not. But I believe for a while that some ownerships and some teams don't mind being bottom feeders. They just don't. They fly low for a very long time, and now you have some owners who've become very ambitious to say, you know what, I want to win. Just because I have a different status than you do, look, you got a 50-foot yacht. I got a 150-foot yacht, and I'm going to show you that by putting a better product on field. I mean, for the Rams to go get Jalen Ramsey and all the other players that they've had to make those trades, and even have a head coach of that same mindset to screw them draft picks. We're going to go pay for who we want. We're going to go get rings, and we're going to be a prominent team in this league. And for those teams that's pretty much held up the bottom end of the NFL, the bottom 16, or however you want to say it, the bottom 10, and now they're creating a fuss around certain ownerships that have a little bit more money than they do, and they want to win and go get players. This is the competitive edge to me. Go get into the fight with them. Hey, borrow against yourself if that's what you got to do at that point. I'm sure you can in some aspect of it, but I don't. You're right. I am dismissive of it, Shafe. I feel
you're
zero
on the
sympathy
player
for
side.
it.
You just want them to. You want to get. I mean, I get it. I understand that.
Yeah.
I don't have sympathy for players or owners because I can't even fathom the amount of money any of them have.
Well, it's this part too for me. There's been so many guys that come in this league and get washed out or do so much for organization, and we never hear of them until they're dead or until they have some bad health problems. They got to create a GoFundMe, and even those same organizations don't give to those players. So, yeah, that is my mindset. This one I'm a little bit more brash about it because it is that. Lifetime medical and all that type of stuff. Like, you don't have it, yeah, whatever. You got it somewhere. And until then, hey, Kroenke, spin. Shad Khan, spin. Everybody, spin until they decide they're going to do the right thing by each other and by the players. So, hey, Paul Brown, he'll find a way. He got it somewhere. He's been an owner for a very long time. He'll be all right. So, yeah, I am pro player on this one. They'll
in that
figure
case,
it out.
do you want salary cap gone too?
Do I want the salary cap gone? You know what? This, the same way I feel about NILs. Hey, coaches get it. Players should get it too.
So, yes, you want the cap
It don't
gone.
matter to me on that one. Just simply
I think
does
at that
not
point
matter.
I don't even know how you feel.
There got to be rules. And I know, of course, I'm more brash about this. I'm being very dismissive about how they're going to handle the business of it. But I have zero sympathy for those guys when they try to take away guys' workers' comp. When they try to tell guys you only got 5 years of medical coverage when you're done. You can do 3 years, and if you don't get 3 games the next year, then you're not vested. When you know this is a hard game, when you know there's a lot. And I'll say this too. I assume my responsibilities of playing football. I know that. I'm fine with that decision. But they also know what they do. As far as 5 years medical, guess what happens after that point? I'm sure guys' pains get a little bit higher at that point. Guys' money probably run out a little bit more if they only did like 4 years. You know what I'm saying? So
I guess I'm saying I don't think it's a sympathy for the owners thing. My whole point is just there's a lot of fans, a lot of teams where the owners aren't going to pay this for whatever reason, and those fans are the ones that end up eating it.
Well, you know what I say?
To the halves.
Either create a really good culture, have a really good coach, or have a really good team on the field regardless.
I mean, that's going to be the thing. It just makes it a bigger challenge to compete with some of those squads.
It's
like the Monstars against Space Jam.
Space Jam eventually won after
Monstars.
So
yeah, because they got Michael Jordan, which I imagine that would have been a large check they would have had to pay.
Cincinnati's role right now, they got Joe Burrow. Okay, like they'll be all right. We want to see the game,
and then the ticket prices will continue to rise as well.
Jay,
that becomes another problem.
Well, then that's an owner issue at that point too, because they've been, I don't know, sell a portion of your ownership, do something. It is what it is. The business of the football is always this point that the fans forever side with the owners on this one, and now the owners release an article, an article to come out about.
They didn't release that.
Well, it was a conversation from somebody I'd expect that has some type of ownership, maybe.
Well, I mean, Florio always talks about business and legal stuff. So,
well, it's because he's very privy to those guys in the front office.
Carlos Dunlap visited the Chiefs last night.
I saw that.
Had 8.5 sacks last year. He's only 33.
You know this guy very well too, Jay. D Ford was released.
Yeah, he was released. He couldn't stay healthy. He missed 21 games in 3 years.
He got broke off too. Ooh. Do you want him here as a guy, or he just won't fit in here?
I don't think you need an injury.
You
risk,
don't need
but I
him.
like the skill set.
Here you don't need him, so that's not one of those.
Yeah,
hey,
the
you release
defense
him,
isn't like that position's not necessarily one you need to worry about.
Yeah, no.
Dunlap, I thought would have been good here last year.
Dunlap would have. I'd have given him that. He'd have came up good for him too.
I mean, he has 96 sacks and he had 8.5 last year at 33.
Dunlap's such a savvy guy. He's such a savvy guy, man. Really good pickup if they could get somebody like that, just for depth.
I mean, the Chiefs, I can definitely see why they should do it.
Yeah.
If you bring him in, if he can do any of what he did last year, there's no reason not to do
Chiefs
that.
are trying to create they're really trying to cover for what's his name being away, Cheetah.
Mhm.
Tyreek. Like, they're trying to do as much as they stack up as much as
Tyrann,
they possibly can. Yeah, him too. He's with the Saints right now. This is this year. There's a lot of different moving parts around this season. I can't wait to see everything come together. First preseason game is a blah, though. It was Raiders and Jags, I think. Ugh. We get to see the Hall of Famer, though. Derek Carr.
Yeah, no, I knew what you were saying.
I don't think they're going to play, though. But, Trevor Lawrence, we get an opportunity to see him for the second time going into this next year. People love Doug Peterson, so I didn't realize that. Just hearing people speak about him, I thought he was the problem in Philly.
Now, if you go read the actual big expose that was written a few years
On
ago,
Athletic?
I think it's Wickersham that wrote it.
From the Athletic, right?
That was a Green Bay one. There was another. Maybe it was Athletic. They may have both been the Athletic, but that thing was clearly a front office issue.
Yeah, you're talking about like the love that the
problem,
owner
too.
had for Carson, where
And
he had
the
his fat head in his
structure.
office.
Peterson didn't have any power at all.
God, how do you not give a coach that type of power that's created a winning culture for you? You know, like, it's ownership. Back away from the wheel a little bit. I got this.
Yeah, they got some big egos in the ownership and general manager room there.
God, that's nasty,
That's
dog.
where AJ's decided to walk into.
I mean, it's the same type of deal they pretty much did for him. Like, that was a snap of the fingers type of deal they did that fast, that quick. Shout out to John Robinson for getting some value back on that one. As quick as he did.
615-737-1045 if you want to join us. I saw seeing articles. It's like Garoppolo is still a 49er, kind of. I mean, not really.
No, in spirit.
I mean, he still got a check, but he doesn't play for them.
In spirit. That's going to be a high cut calls right there if they do have to cut him. Yeah. He'll be all right. They'll be all right, too.
We'll come back. We will give you one more chance to win today via trivia. The opportunity to hang with us. 4 tickets to SummerSlam at Nissan Stadium Saturday night. Good seats. Primo seats. Lacey Evans. Primo seats hanging with us. Now, we can't stop the rain, but we'll try. Maybe we come back with CCR. That'll help us stop the rain.
All right.
It's Jay Martin on 104.5 The Zone.
Don't worry.
We'll be at Nissan Stadium Saturday night for SummerSlam. Who will be with us? Already several winners this week. Be a couple more opportunities tomorrow, but right now, you've got a shot if you can answer this trivia question and be the first one to give the proper answer to Mr. Schaefer at 615-737-1045. What was the strange thing that happened early in the SummerSlam 2000 main event triple threat title match? The real thing that happened early that was strange in the main event at SummerSlam 2000, show I attended in Raleigh. As a matter of fact, that night was the first TLC match as well, but that's not what I'm talking about. Triple threat title match between The Rock, Kurt Angle, and Triple H. Something happened fairly early in that match. Unplanned. Real. First person to answer that at 615-737-1045 will get the family 4-pack. If not, then I got friends I can invite.
SummerSlam 2000?
Yep.
I don't know who that was, Jay. That's let me look this up myself. Should be a good event though, Jay. I'm looking forward to this. Rain or not. What happens if it rains though? We don't want to speak about it. We're done. We're not gonna say that.
And
it's always outside.
I hope not.
It's always outside SummerSlam. It's a
No,
big venue. It's
it
not.
is now for the most part. I think it was in Vegas last year. Actually,
Was it? Oh wow! I see the SummerSlam 2002.
That was a great show with Rock and Brock.
Yeah,
really good show.
Oh wow! I had no idea, Jay.
So
what
we
was
got
the
a bunch
crazy
of
thing?
callers
I
in now.
can't
tell
know
you
what
yet.
this is.
I gotta wait till somebody gets it right, then I'll tell you.
I don't know what this is, man.
Oh,
I just seen it. Ha ha! Really good, Jay. Really good.
I figure somebody will know it.
Mhm.
It's a little bit more difficult.
It was
but
in Raleigh, North Carolina.
went to that show.
You went to it. Oh, you saw this live?
Yes.
No, okay. It didn't register. Yeah, Raleigh. Promotional posters of Rock, Triple H, Undertaker, and Kane. God, what a legendary group that is. Dudley Boys is in this. Oh, wow. Dope. Did we tell the answer to the last one, too?
Yes.
We gave that answer out?
Yeah. That the superstar who had his first pay-per-view match at SummerSlam 1998 was Edge.
It was Edge.
Yeah.
In this time right here, Jay, when you saw this poster, this promotional, the guys that was going to be in SummerSlam, was it huge then? Like you knew, like having The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker, and Kane.
Yeah, you knew.
This was massive.
Yeah, I mean, you knew. I mean, SummerSlam was always my favorite event as a kid. Like it was bigger than Mania to me. It was one that I liked the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you knew. WWE would have been dead had they not found Austin and Rock's peak at the same moment. Those two guys saved the company because their business was nearly dead. And nobody was coming to the events. Nobody was watching the television. They were in dramatic trouble. And Stone Cold and The Rock hit at the same time. And the Mr. McMahon heel character and the angle with Stone Cold basically saved the company.
This is so cool because I remember wearing like the shirts, like opened up a can of whoop. And like the teachers in the school didn't know how to handle it. Or it was just so wild how like the Attitude Era is what this was just, it not only took, I guess, TV by storm, but like it took schools when kids were like in school, like with these shirts on and the Austin head. And boy, those graphics were freaking phenomenal. Damn. It takes me back thinking about this type of stuff.
I mean, the NWO was still a top 5 selling shirt.
NWO.
even though that was a 96 logo.
Yeah.
It's still a thing now. I have not seen if anyone has won yet. Schaefer's still taking calls. There's still people calling.
And this is a 4-pack also too, Shafe?
Yep.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You can take a family of 4.
4-pack to hang with us.
And
take your fam to hang with our fam.
Mm-hmm. Man, this is pretty cool. Yeah, we got an answer yet?
I keep waiting. Well, all the calls just died at once, so somebody had to have won.
Somebody had to have won.
Somebody had to have gotten it.
It was busy.
Yeah,
Did
you
get
were.
it? Did somebody get it?
Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't be talking to you.
All right, so main event of SummerSlam 2000.
Jonathan Tyree in Columbia is going to be joining us.
All right,
Man, we're getting people from everywhere. You have to get a Davidson County winner?
We probably did at some point.
Yeah, probably.
I'd have to check.
Okay.
Kurt Angle.
We did. We got at least one.
Kurt Angle, Triple H, and The Rock. There's a table spot fairly early in the match out by the announce position in this triple threat. They went up to do a spot, pedigree with Triple H, and the table broke. Not as it was supposed to. It broke, and Kurt Angle got a massive concussion. Had to be taken to the back. Ended up coming back and finishing the match, not even knowing where he was.
Really?
He ended up coming back to do his role, and basically, you can, if you go back and watch it, The Rock and Triple H kind of move him around because he has no idea where he is. Same thing happened in the Brock Lesnar Undertaker match where Brock's streak came to, or the Undertaker's streak came to an end. There was concussion early in that match. Brock didn't know where he was for the rest of the match.
Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you earlier about injuries and whatnot, and that is a part of it too. Wow.
Very much so.
So he didn't. I got to go back and watch them. So it's basically Weekend at Bernie's.
It's not quite that bad. Like, you have instincts. Even when you're hurt, you have instincts, right? Like, you kind of have some sense because of experience and all of that. But you can tell he's not right. Like, not even close to right. And he's even talked about it. He's like, you go back and watch it, I had no idea where I was. He says, I did watch it back. You can tell I was completely at it. Or completely out of it. You can tell they were calling spots for me if you look very closely. I have no recollection of the match. I remember up until the table. Then my memory came back when I was in the hospital with an oxygen mask on my face.
Wow.
He lost about 3 hours of time where he can't remember anything that happened.
It's all right. I lost 4 hours today.
It was 4 hours every day. And then, of course, it was concussion from Brock against Angle at WrestleMania 19 on a shooting star where Brock landed on his head. You should go watch that video if you've never seen it.
You know, that type of stuff cringes me out.
He stopped doing that move after that, though.
The Rock did what again?
Brock did a shooting star press, which is an inverted somersault off the top rope and landed on his head. He didn't get all the way around. He didn't get all the way around.
No, this was live?
Yes. It was the main event of WrestleMania 19.
We're live, pal.
Oh, my God.
I'll show it to you in the green room.
No. I'm good. I don't. That stuff.
I'll show you Sid Vicious from Sin 2002.
No, that's okay, Jay. We're
No,
good.
don't show that to anybody.
No one needs to say. Do not go look that up.
Do not.
Buck
Do
Rouse
not
is coming
pass
up
go.
next from training camp. We'll do it all again tomorrow for Ramon Foster and Jonathan Schaefer. I'm Jason Martin.
God. Oh, and remember, the Twitter fingers in your mouth. I said dog. Always hot.
This freaking clown. Twitter fingers. Can you believe it?